first set is dead even.
Unbelievable combination.
Wow.
Beautifully done.
What a great spot.
Hello and welcome to the 2025-26 APTA Men's and Women's National Championships. We're live from Canoe Brook Country Club in Summit, New Jersey, bringing the 2026 APTA National Championships with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsor, Corient. Tournament support has also been provided by the following. Our presenting sponsor, Land Rover Parsippany, where excellence comes standard. Platinum sponsors, Sea Louse, helping clients achieve their investment objectives since 1984. New Jersey Men's League, New Jersey Women's Platform Tennis League. Our gold level sponsors, PPAC Private, Pure Hockey, Skinletics, UBS, Xenon, M4, Viking. Our silver level, Django Social, Center Court, Spyro, Harrison, and Nelson. Courtside Rehab and Training, Equals Fives, Grant Holmes, Cisco, Susan Penny Parcels at Sotheby's, Jackson Lewis, Richard Wright from One Point BFG Wealth Partners, One Digital, Unity Jets, Wealth Enhancement. And thank you to all our additional sponsors who make this event so spectacular. I'm Mike Raleigh alongside Brad Easterbrook, bringing you the men's final between our number 1 seed, Regalado and Jose Salazar, versus our number 2 seed, Guillermo Nunez and Mark Powers. Brad, welcome to the booth.
Well, this is what we were looking forward to on the season. We have our top 2 seeds in the final here. We'll take a quick look at them on the screen. Of course, Regalado and Jose Salazar, one a pro at the Stanwich Club, the director there, and one at the Short Hills Club. Local rooting interest here. And Guillermo Nunez and Mark Powers. Mark Powers, the only non-pro in the bunch, and Guillermo Nunez at Pelham Country Club. You know, this is the matchup we've been looking for. I mean, Regalado and Salazar have seemed inevitable all season, right? They've just been marching through the season. Yet, the only loss they have on the season is to Powers and Nunez, right? But that was early in the season in Baltimore. But these guys just played a 3-setter at Short Hills where Powers and Nunez won the first set 7-6 in about close to 2 hours. And then there was like definitely a change in something physical with Nunez and Powers, and they lost 1-1. But as it goes on, I mean, this is the heavyweight battle we were looking for. I expect this thing to be 3 hours. I'm expecting it to be long, deep through the middle, long points. I think they're going to stress them out with a lack of pace, and then when they get the one ball, they can try to do something with like a Nunez slash and attack the screen. They're going to do it. But I don't think it's going to be like one after another Nunez and Powers. I think it's going to be, and we all know that Regalado and Salazar, they can just kind of play whatever pace they need to. And they can go from defense to offense as well as anybody. And you can hear there in the background Mike Yahimski.
Welcome to the 2026 APTA National Championship. This is a men's final round match. We'll play best 2 out of 3 sets. We'll play tie breaks in the first 2. The third set will be played out until a team wins by 2 games. Modified no-ad scoring. Introducing the players to my left. Playing on the ad side from Morristown, New Jersey, Regalado. His partner on the deuce side from Greenwich, Connecticut, Jose Salazar. Players to my right on the ad side from New York, Mark Powers. His partner on the deuce side from New York City, Guillermo Nunez.
All right, you hear Nunez there. You got to make a quick
pit stop.
And they will serve.
All right. They will serve. Regalado Salazar won the toss and they will serve. Usually you got to defer or receive. It's interesting. There's a lot of things to unpack here, in this match. I mean, including the way they got here. And we were just doing some of the quick math there. How many games did Regalado and Salazar lose in the 5 matches they won to get here?
13.
13 total games. So, that's basically 2.5 games per match. So the average is like 6-1, 6-2 or 6-1, 6-1 on their wins. Yet conversely, you got Nunez and Powers who have just played 4 3-setters in a row. First round they got through in straight sets. After that, and they've played a total of lost a total of 58 games. So crazy difference. If we judge on that alone, clearly you're going to go Regalado Salazar have a, clear advantage in fitness and other things. But the format's so player friendly.
Yeah. No longer are the days where they're playing 5 matches on a Saturday and then semifinals and finals on a Sunday. Where they spread it out that third day. I don't know what.
Yeah, we had 3 matches
ago?
on Friday, 2 matches on Saturday, and 1 match here. And we've seen over the years, there have been days where somebody gets a really tough semifinal and the other guy breezes through it, and then they got to go back out there and play the final in like an hour. And it's had definite impact on national championship matches in the past. Here, as much as this, 58 games lost from Nunez and Powers, they're fresh. They got a full night's rest, a nice dinner, and it's completely different than going right back out there. So I think we're going to see all their players at their best, and it looks like we're getting right into it.
I had spent a little time with Nunez on Thursday or Friday night, and I was just, quick chat, and I was asking him, and he's like, he's such good friends with Regalado Salazar. He goes, there's no surprises out there. He goes, it's going to come down to execution.
Yes, I agree. And, so Salazar brings it out. We'll do a quick run of the players on the court. That's Jose Salazar serving. His partner at the net, Alvi Regalado. In the ad court, top right of your screen, Mark Powers. And then Guillermo Nunez, top left of your screen. And again, Mike Yahimski in the chair. Yeah, there's going to be no surprises. I mean, the weather it's really warm out here today.
Yeah,
we've gotten up to 60-plus degrees probably on the court. It'll be interesting to see if that means players will let it go through. Will they have trouble controlling the pace on a big, strong drive? You can pretty much let anything go through. These guys are so quick. Do you think there's almost any ball they couldn't track down if you let it? Yeah, I mean, they can really get anything off the back screen in 60-degree weather. So that's always going to be an option for these guys.
Well, you had mentioned the Short Hills final that they played, and the difference in temperature, we're talking almost
it was negatives. Yeah, negatives.
70-degree difference. Just a minor effect on the playability of the ball. And
what's funny, this right here is what I expect to see a lot of. Probing, controlling, and only they get a real ball to unload on. We also probably expect to see a little of the move that Nunez and Powers have been doing more of, which is Powers goes up the side wire and looks to one time and down up overhead. And Nunez comes behind and trails if they get it around him. And if they overhit it, he can take a screen drive from the back.
They're like tomahawks, that thing.
Yep. And as much as the 70-degree temperature, you can compress the ball and you can spin it and you can spin it back and you can make it bite. The difference or the problem out here, and you're seeing most of this, is push overheads. And even that roller, that wasn't like a heavy roller at the crease. That was just a 3/4 basic push roller. And I think these guys are going to be very selective about adding more to the overhead because it's going to just come off more, right? So I think these guys are going to play this type of pace throughout. Time's your flight.
Yeah. Call my wife. I may not make it.
Big forehand there, and of course he doesn't even bother to volley. He knows he can track it down. I expect there to be a very active crowd out there. The place has been packed throughout. You know, we just got done with the women's final, a tremendous final. Congratulations to Zabori and Halbauer taking down that national championships. And kudos also to Lopez and Page. You know, B. Lopez, Page, they are just right there, 2 finals in a row. And it's hard to be closer than they were, but they are. You know, like right a hair's breadth away. And, of course, you could say the same thing over here. Regalado Salazar burst onto the scene, maybe within a point or two winning the national championships.
Regalado Salazar, they lead 1 game.
Semifinals last year, and this year they've just seemed like it's an event, like they're just on the way, marching towards it. All right, so a good game there for Regalado Salazar to start.
Yeah, and this is the first day that the sun is actually somewhat of a factor. I mean, the weather has been...
Got my sunglasses out.
I know. I had to find mine. But, you know, we were 45 and gray, like the perfect paddle days throughout the weekend. And somebody turned the lamps back on, and we now got some sunshine, about 60 degrees.
Yeah, and it's interesting because those other 45-degree days, too, felt more like 40 because there was a moisture in the air. There was, you know, it was cold and raw to a degree. This feels warmer even. Like at 60, it feels like you should go to the beach. Powers with a good close there. Again, there's going to be a lot of recovery time for these guys because the ball's going to stay up off the screen so well. That's just perfect.
Do you think he
good
meant
fortune?
that?
Of course.
Little cutter to the top of the net, winner.
You don't think he's that precise?
Maybe. And you had called the Nunez Powers McNerney Morgan match last night, and I unfortunately didn't get to see any of it or much of it. I was calling the other semifinal, and I mean, I just heard Nunez kind of took over.
I mean, he was carving up some balls. You know, the one thing that Nunez and Powers have done so well this entire tournament, we talked about in the beginning there, they played 4 3-setters in a row, and they've come from down at some point in every single one of them.
Really?
They lost the first set against Anderson Bostrom. Now, they did win the first set against Murphy and Schneider, but then they lost the second and were down 3-love in the third, right? And then they were down 4-3, 40-love, and came back and won the next 3, you know, those 3 games there. And then they were down, you know, they lost the first set almost, in a way, they had won more points than McNerney Morgan in the first set, but they lost. They ended up losing that set. In, you know, a couple of just really well played points by Adam Morgan in big moments, and they just made a couple. They loose on a couple, but they had to come back there, and that match was in the balance, you know, all the way through. So they've competed so well together. It's almost like there have been moments where they're working with each other, and it seems like they don't have a lot of pulse, meaning like nothing's moving them up too much, nothing moving down too much, and they're just competing. But really the difference between last night and today, it is a marked difference.
Yeah.
You know, there was a film on the court. You know, you could really start working the balls over it. You can work the ball and compress it here, but it's going to be hard. There's going to be more cut short finners probably than I think ones that are going to just spin into the back. We'll see, though.
Well, and that's it. You know, throughout the year, you've been watching Nunez. He'll set up his offense at the net and work the deuce side, and then when he gets the short overhead, he will slash it into the ad side.
Long and through. That's going to be a good shot to use today, too. I expect to see a lot of this right there. Long through the middle whenever they don't have something to go for right at the crease like that. And as you mentioned right from the get-go, it's going to come down to execution.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we got number 1 seed, number 2 seed. Would you say there's an underdog and a favorite here?
I think there's no question that Regalado and Salazar have had, like, sort of a death grip on the season, losing only 1 time. Not that Nunez and Powers lost that many times, but, you know, it's they did lose a couple of times, right? They lost actually to these guys. They lost to McNerney Morgan early in Aronimink. They did win Baltimore, but you know, just Regalado Salazar have just been so solid. The only loss they've had is to these guys, and they eventually in Short Hills. And in many cases, if I ask people, you know, in the audience and around, you know, if I give you Regalado and Salazar of the field, like for the tournament, who are you taking? And invariably, many people, and the answer was Regalado Salazar.
Yeah.
You know, against the field, and And the reason why they took it with no questions asked is because there was this sort of belief that the only team that might be able to beat them is Nunez Powers. So you're really just asking, is it Regalado, Salazar, or Nunez Powers,
Yeah.
right? You know, that's really, that's kind of what you're asking, right?
Yeah. I mean, if this match ends up being half of the match that the women's final was, I
Sure.
mean, that was one of the best women's best paddle matches that I've seen.
40-15.
Battle from the get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one I expect, this right here, this long, deep one, when they don't have something better to do, that's what they're going to do. And these guys are going to measure each other, and like you said, it's just going to come down to some execution. You know, right now, we haven't even seen anything spectacular, right?
Mm-hmm.
These guys can do everything, and I think they're going to measure each other out. And I think they know that each one of them is like, it's a very evenly type of matched shot. So they're going to be super measured about the things they do. And paddle's is kind of a game sometimes that you may have a ton of offense, but if you don't do it perfectly, it sets up the other team's offense. So these guys are sort of waiting, you know, for the right thing they can do at that one moment. And they don't want to open up the Pandora's box for the other team because both teams have insane skills.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes it's that engagement when things do speed up.
Like there, look at that. And you cannot do a better job, and they still didn't get the point.
Yeah.
But there you're going to see it. And these guys are going to do that one thing, then it's going to go into this flurry, and then they're going to go back to it again.
Slam the brakes right back down.
And then they go to it again. And that was two really good forays there from Regalado Salazar. But we know that Nunez Powers are one of the best volleying teams in the country. Our Powers yesterday took a blitzing ball from Graham McNerney, who smashed his feet, and he took a swing volley. It's as if he knew where it was going before McNerney hit it, and he swung volleyed for a winner.
I got to give a shout out to Sugar Ray Costa. They're having a watch party at Indian Trails Club.
Absolutely, one of the greats, Ray Costa. You know, he held serve against me one time, and he on the changeover, we're walking over, and Ray Costa goes, "You know, that's like walking the picture. You didn't break my serve." Ray Costa, one of the all-time great gentleman, great player, great friend of the sport, part of the community. Look at that touch volley there, beautifully done. These are great transition balls. Oh, and there you go. So he's got one he can measure and work, and it's got so much spin. He wasn't sure if that was going to cut straight into the screen and come back out, and that thing exploded when they see the audience member there practicing. Great cutter there from Powers. So they will be able to compress the ball today. I think in the country, Mike, in my mind, no teams goes from just like crazy defense to being instantly able to go back to offense better than almost Salazar, and they almost feed on it. Like you cut it in there, they dig another one out, you cut it in there, you dig another, then you leave one hanging a little, and all of a sudden Alvy just kind of one times it early, and he's right back in front of you. They're really good at transitioning from like digging out defense to turning it back right against you. So anytime they don't have a good shot, this is what we're going to see, measured balls. And then it's going to send into a flurry of action when they get the right look. And it's the same for both teams. You're not going to see Regalado Salazar drive unless they have a reasonable chance to get a blitz behind it or they think they can make a miss. And Nunez empowers volley so well, they don't do a good drive. They can get offense on a volley or attacking volley right away.
You know, Regalado and Salazar last night in the semifinals against Moyo and Leon, they were able to kind of just take away Leon's and Moyo's. They love to play kind of that chaotic, create chaos, playing in what I kind of call the four quadrants of the court, blitzing, moving in. And they were just able to shut it down with really good volleys behind the blitzer and forced them into playing kind of a very neutral game.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. So you say that. So you say this is the style they want to play, and did they find out early on that all they were doing was giving more opportunities to Regalado and Salazar, right?
Yeah.
Which is what we're talking about here. And these guys kind of know that right off the bat. They're only going to create chaos if they can create controlled chaos, right? Meaning they're in control doing it. Whereas those guys we're creating chaos for chaos sake.
Yeah.
Right? And then now you're playing into the hands of one of the most athletic teams in the country, in Regalado and Salazar. But a great season for Leon and Moyo. And, I know it was a blast for all the people in the Philadelphia area watching two of their guys make it to the semifinals there.
Yeah, they had a great
kudos.
run.
Kudos to those guys.
Fun team to watch.
Our third panel smash there. In the semifinals last year, it was interesting. Regalado Salazar had been playing one certain way so well the entire season, and then they came out a lot faster and quicker, and they lost quickly to Nunez Powers. It was almost a surprise. This year it feels like they know they've grown so much as a team from last year to this year, including adding more offense, the ability to create more chaos, but also learning how and when to slide it in. That they're so good at being able to play at multiple paces.
40-15.
Just a couple little loose ones here. Good counter attack there from Regalado. That's a big ball. Yeah, so easy for these guys to track it down today, though.
Yeah, you see that ball came all the way back to the service line off the back screen.
He's making him work, though. He's turning him around time and time again. And you can see Salazar doing a great job, and he's improved so much in his defense. I don't know if you remember back 2 years ago, they ended up switching sides, and it almost took them to the national championship.
And that was in the finals, right, at Boston.
And we may see that again, but I don't think so at all. He's just improved so much, Salazar. That's a big ball right there. And that's what we're seeing. It's just like one little area, and he's going to hit 10 more of those. But if you find the nick, find the one spot.
They're aiming for it.
Yeah, sure. That's going to be the whole key. We've already seen a couple of volleys go long today that I don't think would have gone long yesterday.
Yeah.
I think the heat is also we're going to see a few more missed volleys just because it's harder to deaden things. There's a good deaden. Oh, yeah, he smartly just gets out of the way. There's no chance for Nunez to get that in with pace. He tried to hit him, but not even close. I think this is better as a high lob and just get out of there, in the warm weather especially, too. All right, time to talk about one of our great sponsors, Land Rover. And today's event is proudly sponsored by Land Rover Parsippany. Experience exceptional service and luxury performance, and visit LandRoverParsippany.com. We had a great interview yesterday with Nicole Suminowitz, and she did a great job. They have been here for 40 years, this company. The community feel to that place and the outreach they do within the community is tremendous. So check them out.
Yeah, and they have to look for the carpool karaoke that was done in the Land Rover mobiles.
I was there. I was in it.
Did you do it?
I was in it.
I didn't get invited. My reputation, I think, preceded me on how
well, the good thing,
tone
I
deaf
mean,
I
we
am.
were all in there. I think it was me and Waldron, one of our great volunteers here in the live streaming, gets to do so much work for the APTA. Patty Hogan. And we were all in there, and it was a lot of fun. Great sound system in that. I think they got a Defender APTA out there. Very cool car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been told, you're getting one, right?
Yeah, 2.
2? I got to call my agent.
Yeah.
Well, if you miss your flight.
Yeah, I might just
drive home
with
with
to
Lance.
Chicago.
And in this match, I think the biggest thing, to watch for and the danger zones for these teams is the peaks and valleys. Sometimes you miss a few. It's like, I think whoever team just has less of those valleys, just steady under control. Oh,
Ooh,
that's a
that
good
was
look.
What we were talking about.
Yeah, it's a good look.
Love 30.
Just got to make it, and this is the play they're going to look for. And again, good cutter, but it stays too high. And as you said, these guys know each other so well. Salazar,
Love 40.
Regalado, Nunez, they practice together all the time. They play tournaments together as well. When Nunez wasn't playing with Powers, he won a tournament with both Regalado and with Salazar.
And in describing Regalado Salazar, I've used I think you and I talked about it being in another broadcast, talked about how they're almost like a boa constrictor. They squeeze you and they never let you. They might relax a little bit, but it's very brief, and then it's almost like they go right back into it.
Yeah, you feel like you have to press, and every time you do, and then you start to press, and then they just squeeze more. And right now we got to watch out because Nunez, little valley here, right?
Yeah.
2-3 misses here, and this is where the 3-1 lead comes from Regalado Salazar. Is it just the shot making Regalado Salazar? No, it's going to be these little peaks and valleys and drops in execution. These teams are so evenly matched. It's an opportunity now. 2 faults, 3 faults. Take it. They get a break right back. Nice gift. They can close this game out. And, of course, we are doing the no-ad scoring like we always do, which means there's 3 break points in a row. Oh, that's so low to the net. He knows it's coming. He reads it, but it's so low. He wanted to angle drop it, which means he added it slightly down, and bad call.
3 games to 2, first set.
All right, another one of our terrific sponsors is Corient. And Corient is excited to partner with the APTA because whether as advisors to our members or as members themselves, they are already part of the APTA community. Learn more at www.corient.com, the official wealth sponsor of the APTA. All right, I'm Brad Eastbrook with Mike Raleigh. Guillermo Nunez serving here, 3-2. And that was 2 gift games, kind of back-to-back. Regalado Salazar got a gift there when they had 2 or 3 errors from Nunez Powers and 3 faults in a row. That'll do wonders for you.
Yeah, that makes that break a little bit easier to do.
Get there from Regalado. He actually had a backhand grip on the other side. He frying panned it over. Powers actually went all the way to the side wire, pushed himself off the side screen to get out of the way there for Nunez. These guys are so seamless in the way they move up there at the net. And I think Salazar saw a little space there, and he went for a drive that really wasn't quite there.
When you see how the ball hit the neck and popped out and gave an offensive drive opportunity
Right.
for Salazar. I mean,
And that's what we're talking about, right? You're going to have to measure this. In a weird way, the problem in some cases with a matchup like this is the respect these guys have for each other.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not going to open it up until they got something to open it up with. Ooh, right on the crossbar. Great get again from Regalado. See, that is good fortune and really good luck there. Powers actually apologized for taking the ball before he's sorry. Nunez wasn't quite ready on that when he actually missed the ball just a little,
Yeah.
clips the net and just dribbles
Just
right out. They're
enough.
laughing at it. He's like, sorry. He literally just said sorry to him. Nunez is going to apologize because he was not ready to hit that next overhead because they had a little miscommunication. And he felt so bad about it that he gave him a fault on the next one. Okay. Another little miscue there. I think I just got through saying how seamless they do all these things.
You jinxed it,
You're
Brad.
right.
And I think you kind of paying attention here, too, to the balls that they do choose to drive. You know, there's probably, they pass up, you know, Regalado and Salazar, they'll pass up 2, 3, 4 drivable balls until they get the absolute perfect one that they want.
I think that's the shot they are looking for. You know, and you could see Powers actually moved over 2 or 3 times when Nunez was a little surprised that he was going to do that. But that ball right there is the one that I think
they want, right?
that they're looking for. But right now, and you can see Powers, he's just standing, moving all the way out to the side of the alley, you know, given all the space he can. But they got to have it a little more measured as to when it's happening, because I think there is some slight confusion right now. And with Powers' role right now, he's going to let Nunez go to work, and he's going to cut off a ball if a volley comes into play. And if they happen to actually hit it straight down the line, he's literally in the alley. Right, giving him all the space to do the work. And he's going to work over Salazar, and he's just going to keep going, Salazar. He's tough. That's a great pace from Powers there. And you see Powers doing that. Have you ever seen a better Russell Benheim when he was hitting those long cutters in there?
Jeez.
You know, I think we saw the best ones in the country right there. Powers basically trying to do the same type of shot. Benheim's almost perfected it. I can't say those aren't really good opportunities.
30,
And it's going to come down to execution. Now they know they can make that in this, and it can be a winner out here today.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's still not a low risk shot, no matter what.
yeah.
And right now they're on the negative side of it, and you know, I think something just like being on the negative side of that could be a difference in this match.
Yeah, I agree.
Or they could make those two, and we got 2 winners, and then it's
Right.
the other side of the match, right? That's how close this thing could be. But that's two game points in this. Now he gets the cut finisher here. He gets one back there. All right, so another break point here. See who they're going to go to.
Yeah, who would you serve to?
You know, I would actually defer. No, but no, they're going to go here to Salazar. I don't know, actually. I might go to Regalado because he tends to not hit the return more. You know, so I think it's just a safer start of the point.
And it may depend when, like, here
Ooh,
we get
that was so close.
Nunez with the lefty serving into the deuce side. It's probably his strongest serve. For the righty, when
Correct.
Powers is serving, they may look to go into the ad side to Regalado.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You know, just to the higher degree of the
jam
better
that,
serve that
spin
you
it in
have.
there.
Yes, and the more challenging serve you can hit to that player. All right, huge point here. And you can see this game, we talked about it just coming down to execution. We got 2 missed cutters, both really good opportunity balls for it by Nunez Powers. 1 cut finisher, and now it's coming here to this sudden death point. And these guys are going to be much more measured about it. I still think if they get the easy ball, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, this one is the safer one, the one he's hitting longer through the court. The one that you got to drop short, you got to have a little finer window on it. Contact's a little thinner. Ooh! Smart hold, and so good at that, Regalado. He sort of holds his paddle out in front of you, and he could literally just kind of pop it at you in blitz at the last second. That's good speed up there from Powers. Right to the crease. You know, it's funny, and one thing to watch for, too, is if you watch Salazar in the backcourt, he, more than anyone else in the country, he hits a lob, and then he switches over to his semi-western grip, you know, looking for that forehand drive. Yeah. He's doing it about 70% less because he's really more hunkered down on, I'm going to deal with the Nunez spin first. I think there were 3 or 4 balls there that he might have driven against other opponents that he just didn't take. That's a great hold of serve there from Nunez Powers.
Yeah, they kind of stole that game.
You know, but they gave him the 2 misses on the 2 putaways they could have had. You know, and this is what we talked about. It's just execution. Was that a bad look there for Salazar, the last shot?
No.
No, you just missed it. So, you know, it's just battling back and forth, these 2 guys with even skill sets. And there are 2 or 3 times where I'm sure that Regalado would have hit and blitzed against other opponents. Like that ball in the middle of the court that's around the service line, he will dink and blitz, slap it at your body and blitz. And what does he do? He just throws up a lob 2 times there. I'm not saying he's not going to later. I'm just saying there's a healthy respect on the court. And these guys are erring to the other side of it.
The safe side, yep. Because I think both teams love that engagement when things do speed up and they are volleying.
Without a doubt.
You know, it.
Yeah, and there's that play we talked about again. Again, yeah, that's a better one. He's got the right pace on that one. Oh, Nunez goes from one side to the other so quickly. Beautifully done. Now there's a shot that McNerney was having some success with last night. The water falls into the Nunez side, and they ended up Nunez Power switching in the backcourt, which is great for them because then it puts their forehands on the outside, so you can't dump it into the corners without risk of the overhead. But on the backhand side for Nunez over there, or Powers, you can get it over there, and the backhand's just not as much of a threat, not as big a reach. And it worked for him. You know, it was a good look.
15 low.
And it switched, and it definitely helped them with their defense against the waterfall. And McNerney uses a lot of those.
Yeah, man, I think he hits the best. He hits that overhead.
Oh, Powers just
wide.
held it and tried to thread the needle a little too much. He was looking for, he held it for a half second, and then he went inside it, so it went just wide, yeah. Oh, goes for the paddle throw. And by the way, if he lets go of the paddle, hits it and goes over, it would not count.
Is it a double beamer?
Yeah, right on the 2 beams. Oh! Spin cutter. Wait, did he get that? No, he didn't get it. He didn't get it. These guys, you know, and they're all good friends, too, in the sense, like, especially Nunez, Regalado, and Salazar. That was great. Look at, I got to see a replay of that cutter. If we could even get a side angle, even better.
40,
Fantastic shot there. They had a switch, a Powers get, and Nunez hits this crazy cutter after just recovering.
Game, Regalado, Salazar, they lead 4-3, first set.
It's kind of exactly like we've been talking about, Mike. It's just measured and then flurries.
Yeah, this is kind of going and following the script that I thought.
But the one thing we're not seeing is, have we seen a 100-ball point yet?
No.
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 So they're willing to take and pull a trigger at some point in time earlier than 100 balls, and nobody's working the shot clock, right? What they're doing is being super measured about what they're doing. But Nunez Powers, last game, they took 2 cut finishers. Now, they missed them.
Yeah.
But actually, they made others, though, right? So they're taking their opportunities to finish or attack when they see them. This isn't like, all right, we're just going to not miss and just work your head. We may see that later on in a crucial moment where it's like, I'm just not going to miss. But in terms of like an overall strategy where, you know, where we're trying to just, you're never going to, miss a ball.
15,
These guys are playing at each other. Even same with Regalado Salazar. They're playing at each other. Oh, a couple of misses there.
30
He
low.
sort of half-weighed that return. And you can see the biggest difference. Powers at full sweat mode here, not even a set into it. Huge temperature difference.
So would you think that the 4 3-set matches that Nunez and Powers have played in this tournament, is that helpful or hurtful for them?
30-15.
It's a great point. I mean, it's not going to hurt them physically because of the format.
Yeah.
If it was a different format, I think it would have. And I love that part of it. I think these guys have had exact opposite ways of getting here. And I sort of like the Nunez Powers way, meaning you fight your whole way. So
Yeah.
did it get rid of it for him? No, I think it kind of locked him into competing more. Now, whether it's going to translate into a victory here today, I do not know.
Yeah.
But it's been like, it's not that it's been no intensity for Regalado Salazar, but it's been simple, smooth sailing.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
not
40-15.
faced a single moment of, oh boy. The second got a little dicey maybe with Leon and Moyo, a little, but there was never a moment where you thought it was in doubt or issue. Powers Nunez, it was in doubt.
Yeah.
Not once or twice, many, many times. I mean, there were moments. And even when they got up and it's sort of they had turned the tide, and even in their second round against, Bostrom Anderson got back to 5-4. They were up 5-2, then it's 5-4. They faced many, many, many moments. So it's an interesting question to answer.
I think that in some respects,
There's the ripper.
in the Bostrom Anderson match, Powers started slow and then slowly kind of found, great overhead there.
Yeah, it's just perfection, and he was reading it differently. And then the spin just kicked right into the crease. He should have played it as a help call the entire time.
We're tied 4-all, first set.
But if we're talking about like who's going for the cutters and who's not, we've had a couple of misses from Nunez. We had 3 or 4 winners.
Yeah.
And really on the Regalado Salazar, in terms of like cut winners or any of that, they're doing none of it. It's not as part of their repertoire as it is Nunez Powers. The Nunez ability to do that is a big part of their game.
You see how quick he stepped up and stuffed that ball?
He stuffed it. And it's funny, I wonder too, they do play together a lot. They must know each other. I mean, they know that Dink and Blitz can come from Guille Nunez, one of the best in the country to do it. But on the other side of it, one of the best at closing and stuffing. It's Regalado and Salazar. And there's the big, heavy pace that this warm weather, I think, makes a difference. Hard at the body today can be a good shot because it's just hot to handle.
Well, the other thing, too, is that ball could be going long, but if they're hitting it kind of at the body, at the paddle, it forces – that thing was torched. It forces the volleyer to make that decision.
30-15.
Yeah, and there's, again, that good move, but he overcooks that one. Good soft hands there from Salazar. Taking 2 power strikes.
So your students, when you're playing and talking specifically about playing in warmer weather, what adjustments do you have them?
The biggest thing is how you manage the pace. Don't take any volleys that, because you can get everything off the back. Sorry, watching this here. But a lot of it just has to do with managing the pace. Great little waterfall there. And
40-50.
controlling it and making sure that, you know, the ball's not coming off the back screen too hot. And if you do get yourself in a bad situation, don't be afraid to just leave the net right off the bat, because there is no fear of not getting the ball. Even for, like, a club player who doesn't necessarily move as fast as these guys, you can get the ball off the back screen pretty comfortably. And yeah, like, how about yourself?
You know, I think that grip pressure, just being mindful of,
Sure.
you know, and if you are attempting to volley those bullets, it's really
and of course,
quiet
grip pressure
hands.
goes to controlling the
Yes.
pace of the depth of the those things, right? Yeah. And you got to actually be mindful of how you want to hit your drive. You overhit your drive, you know, you're better off hitting usually more like three-quarter drives, unless you're going to go full body hard, right? Right at the body. Right at the crease. That's a good one. Good cover there from Salazar. You see Regalado head up the line. Salazar got the middle.
So I asked Dave Broderick this question yesterday. If you gave a player,
Oh, no, he's got a bail there.
yeah,
And I'm not sure what he was doing. He was bailing, but then he reached for the volley. I don't know.
Salazar, they lead 5 games
But if you give-
to 4, first set.
you know, Regalado, Salazar, Nunez, Powers, 100 balls fed the same way, and tell them to hit for the nick. What percentage out of 100 do you think?
That's a great question. I'll go 10,
10%.
20, yeah.
I was thinking same ball. I mean, so, you know, once they get warmed up, I'd
You
say
think
they
they get
hit.
more?
I think they'll be upwards of 40%.
That's high for me. You know, if I'm feeding him and doing a drill where I'm working that out of my hand into the thing, I can probably get to about 30% or so. That's like with no variables. I understand same ball means no variables. It's just not as simple as you think it is.
Yeah.
Like it's like, and you know, when they hit it, they're aiming for it, and you could see teams specifically going at the corner versus not. All right, here's the moment now for Regalado Salazar, and it's kind of funny. It almost feels like we played the other games to get to this huge point at the end of the set, right? And I feel like here's the moment where we're going to tighten up. We have not seen the 100-ball point yet. We may.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You lose an arm putting it in there. It needs a safety rail to get him out of there.
Well, there's been enough of those where it seems like there's a little sudden, like slight confusion on some of those. I hope it doesn't creep in at a crucial moment.
Yeah.
Like big point, 30 all, like 5 all, right? And all of a sudden they're just missing a routine ball because there's like a subtle bit of confusion. A little fake move there from Regalado. Powers out of the court, and he's literally going to hit that one ball that goes right to him. Yeah, much of this match has been played in this battle right here. Nunez attacking Salazar. And again, just the missed cutter.
30.
2 points for the first set for Regalado Salazar.
But
Perfect
I really,
ball.
yeah, I can't fault that is an execution error, not a decision making. It's
Yeah, but it's not a low risk ball once again.
Right.
But it's an opportunity to win the point outright that they have, and that's what they're working for. That entire point was just Nunez carving overheads at Salazar, except
Looking
for
for that
occasional
ball.
here,
Yeah.
looking for that one ball. He took it, he missed it. We talked about it being execution. Now it's love 30. Do they continue to take that chance, or do they dial it back to a space?
I say when he hits that ball 10 out of 10 times.
All right, so he keeps going for it.
Yeah.
I get it. Hitter's got to hit.
Hitters hit, shooters shoot. Right? I mean,
Yeah, no, I understand. You maintain your confidence, and we've seen it before. But there are moments where you got to pick and choose. I think there were a couple of moments in a couple of these 3-set matches for Nunez Powers where, I mean, how good is Powers' forehand?
yeah.
Outstanding. But there were a couple of moments where I thought this is a no-ad point, and they're firing this huge serve in, and Powers actually, he's going to swing away a lot, but he missed a couple. Should he have taken them? Should he not have taken them? They're
Yeah.
huge. Yeah, it's a big point, right? You're just hitting, and I think in one match it worked against him. He got more conservative later on against McNerney and Morgan, because McNerney specifically worked on hitting a bigger, harder serve, specifically against a player like Powers, right, to use it in those moments. So when McNerney came at him, Powers actually more conservative, so even though pretty much any high forehand, Powers going to hit it.
Yeah.
There are times you got to be judicious. Oh, he finally catches it. I think it hit the seam. And huge point there. That's going to get hit. Nice volley. See, again, they're not even going to toy around with it. He's just putting the lob up. I like those quick drives from Regalado. He's just kind of
Probing.
pushes it low.
Probing,
He just pushes
probing.
it low, and he's so quick to move in that he actually has a second to wait to see if he thinks it's going to work. Yeah, you can see just. That's a great volley. Nice attack. Working now. He's working Regalado. They're switching back. That's perfect. Oh, it doesn't quite get the spot he wants. Oh, boy. Oh, just out.
Jeez.
And there was definitely a little confusion there. I think he wasn't playing that no matter what.
Yeah.
And it luckily sailed a little long. Huge as Regalado Salazar go up 30 love, but Nunez Powers bring it right back. Waterfall. Oh, wow, what a block, but no deal.
Yeah.
He thinks it's going right at the crease and moving too fast. And he had to make a split-second decision. It's one or the other. What a shot there from Powers, firing it long through the court. And this is what the warm weather does, though. People always think, yeah, you can put it away better. It's just with the spins and the cuts. And when you speed the ball up or add more, where spin's going to work, it gets magnified by the heat.
Well, it's a combo. They're
Correct.
They're looking to hit, maybe a two-shot combination to affect the winning point, the winning shot. All right, we're at 5-all here in the
Game Nunez
2026 men's national final. And Mike Raleigh alongside Brad Easterbrook from Canoe Brook Country Club here, Summit, New Jersey.
That's good close off there from Regalado. Time and time again. Oh, he's got to have, nope, no, he doesn't need the help from Powers there. Yeah, you could hear Powers is like, Mark, you know, he kind of was, he was throwing a little flyer flipper there, trying to catch him off guard, but all he really did was give him a loose air. And he knew it.
15 all.
Oh, that's just great blitz.
And
Well
how about
done.
that lob volley?
Yeah, these guys have fantastic volleys. Two of the best. I mean, Nunez is definitely one of the best blitzers in the game. And also two of the best blitzing teams in terms of like shutting down a blitz, you know, or responding to it.
30-15.
You know, a great lesson, Brad, for, you know, the players, you know, the average player, when they've got that opponent that's blitzing in, you hear the call from the partner, and then the overheader just absolutely should hit that overhead hard and not try to avoid the blitz, but actually attack the blitz with pace.
All right, so Nunez Powers 0-3 on the blitz, and that's a great call. A lot of people, you're right, think that when they're not hitting the ball, they don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
But the other guy's looking up to hit it, so they can't see if somebody's coming forward or not. All right, 40-30 here. It's a huge point. This could become break point here for Nunez and Powers.
And that's the new dynamic in this year. You know, you go from being down 15-40, and all of a sudden there's that pressure that comes with, if you get it back to, you know, back to deuce, it's now a break point and a game point for me. So it just adds such a different look.
Powers hunkered down here. It's a good angle here, keeping his paddle in front of him. Just mixing in waterfalls. Oh, fakes a little chip and charge. Good move from Powers up the wire. Can't really get a full strike on it. Good fake again. Oh, and he's a little off balance. He's kind of jumping at it. He held two little push lobs there, and that one worked. It got him off balance, but he was also off balance.
6-5, first set.
Shout out to Anthony McPherson, Medina director. He just said, "You're sounding great, Brad." The text line said, "You're sounding great, Brad."
Oh, Mike, everybody in the Chicago area knows that you are affectionately known as Golden Tones. And they also know that if you start a conversation with you, you know, you better at least leave a half hour.
You got to leave some time.
But it's funny here, you know, Regalado Salazar is 6-5. They've already lost 5 games in this set. Did they lose 5 games in any single set on their way here to the finals?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Closest set was 6-3 or 6-4, right?
6-3.
Yeah.
I don't know if they lost more than 5 games in a match.
In a single match, and that's how dominant their run was here. You know, it was an interesting draw on their side of it as well. Unfortunately, you know, Mercadoya, one of the great talents in the game, it pulled up lame in his match against Leon, and Moyo, he had to which sort of opened the door for those guys, but it just sort of changed the whole upper half of the draw. But the injuries happen all the time.
Yeah, that would have been an epic if, you know, they were able to get through. That would have been an epic match. Well,
they played each other, Bedoya and Burish, in Boston, you know, against Regalado Salazar. And I think it was like 1-4.
Really good
Great lob. Well, there's a little of that confusion, but at least didn't lead to an error. Watch, that's right in the nick. He's going to not get it. Yeah, he misread that completely. But I don't know why he didn't go up the line to begin with. Whether he thinks it's either going to be thin on one side or the other. He could easily turn around and play it with his backhand.
And he can
if
only
he moved
cover
up the
one
line.
way, right?
So
and he's got the backside help.
Right.
From
so
Nunez.
he just really misplayed that. It's got to be up the line, but also great overhead there from, I think it was Salazar who hit that one. Switch, no switch. They're really making Salazar go in and out, in and out. A lot of work. And I think this time in a match, we've seen Salazar hit 3 to 4 times the drives that he's hit today. Just doesn't make him work so much. And as I said before, he's not flipping over to his semi-western grip, looking for that big forehand nearly as much as he normally does.
You know, we've talked about the run of, Regalado Salazar this year. I mean, Powers and Nunez
don't have a lot of losses.
Yeah, they lost. They lost like you said earlier.
Yes.
Regalado Salazar, at Short Hills. They lost in the Aronimink semifinal.
McNerney Morgan there.
Yep. And then.
All right, 2 points again from the first set. Regalado Salazar. Yeah, they don't. Obviously, they're seated second here for a reason. Oh, what a great lob that is. Oh, bad choice. He misses the drive spot. He puts it right on Powers' paddle. Yeah, he's like, I'm sorry. Because it was an opportunity. They had scramble, but here's where the miss comes. Great move. That's a perfect shot. Now it just goes right to Powers, who stuffs it. It's just, tough when he's got to go back at Nunez. Nunez has to touch that next ball.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because it's 30-love 2 games in a row. And this is where I thought we'd see kind of like these guys go into like a shell. We're not going to miss this ball. A lockdown, right? And they're just straight up, these guys. It's not conservative, but it's definitely not lockdown, right? It's like, let's go. We're going. But it's certainly measured. That's a really good long swipper in the dropper. He's going to get it in this weather. And Powers cannot come up with it.
Wow.
2 set points.
A fantastic get.
See, it's a great idea to drop. I would love to see that drop go straight, though. He goes cross court, which gives it a little more airtime and length of travel. And if he keeps it straight, the one who's recovering from the other one is Regalado.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Killer. 3 set points for Regalado Salazar. Curious to see the court director's statistics after this. It doesn't measure things like how many times they cut and finished it over and won it or didn't,
Crowd thought that was out. Somebody in the crowd did.
No, he missed that wide.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good look. A lot of pressure with Nunez power and the Nunez overheads. Get it back, says the crowd. And, we were talking about this yesterday. There was a full party bus that was in here for Nunez and Powers yesterday, 40-person bus.
That's awesome.
And they have like these little cutouts of Mark Powers and Guillermo Nunez faces. Great. And some of that crowd is here again today. Regalado Salazar have tons of fan, of course. Alvy Regalado here at the Short Hills Club and also was at the Orange Lawn Club, so he's a Jersey hometown crowd favorite. But these guys get right back to it. I did not expect to see the amount of cuts that we're seeing. I actually thought we were going to see a lot more long, deep pushes through there. Transition ball, that's right there. Beautiful.
That transition ball came back with interest. He said, I'll see your transition.
There you go. Yeah, and this is the kind of weather for it, right?
Yeah.
And all these players know how to do that so well. But at least, he's, when the guy's taking the strike, you got a chance of him possibly missing.
Mm-hmm.
It's carving out to him. Nice dig. That's a good look. Powers volley. Good job. Nice position. Regalado.
Boy, oh boy.
He's like Gumby.
He is.
Plastic man. Look at the work he's having to do over there, Salazar.
I wonder over time of
if
the
it's
match,
going to wear him.
Is this
Yeah,
things
maybe.
like body blows, where he's battling to stay in the point.
Yeah, I don't think fitness is going to be an issue, but it's interesting maybe. Just like the mental,
Yeah,
like the
I mean,
thing.
It's like here comes another one.
Yeah, it's we're going to have to wait and see on that. But is really working hard, but he's digging in right now, though, and I like it. So this is the lockdown that I thought I'd see. And it's almost like they're putting him into it because they're giving him nothing. They're just spinning him around. Like, all he can do is lock it
get it
down,
back
right?
in.
And all he can do, there's not one ball he's set up for.
Yeah.
Right? He's just surviving and hoping the guy misses it.
He got his one there.
Yeah, and that was just to stop the onslaught. That's a dink. Easily gotten. Right back at him. And this is like all Salazar against Nunez. Most of this, a lot of this set has been this. Ooh, close. Ooh. I think Powers has apologized like 6 times. Yeah, now it's getting to this point where they're like, let's just lock it. They'll take a strike, though, when it comes.
Boy. There it is. Wow.
Oh, Mike.
Oh,
Look at that. Hitter's got a hit.
Hitter's got a hit.
There's your
baby.
answer. If he gets it, is he going to take it? Well, heck yeah. He
Down the
is.
set.
I mean, but what a job there from Salazar. I'll take 100. Maybe 101.
Golly.
But that one was just the perfect ball. That's just perfect. Now set point number 3 here. They go to Regalado, which is a good choice because he will lob it more often than not. He'll just get that point started. And what's interesting, though, is this is it right here. Salazar, Nunez, and I can't fault anything Salazar did in that last point.
No.
He's just fighting for his life.
But, would you say, all right, let's, big point, get a
Switch.
chance to switch in the backcourt?
Yeah, sure.
Put Regalado over there just for a different look.
How about just a break? Oh, the water, he's got it. Wow. It's funny because people are always like, is your arm sore or your shoulder sore after doing this? It's, the action's all up in here. He can do a gazillion of these. And he's been practicing to do it. It's outstanding stuff out here. And I love the respect these guys give each other as competitors and how measured they are with each other, and yet they're still just back and forth. And this Salazar-Nunez battle is kind of a life of its own. And it's like Powers and Regalado are spectators in it.
Yeah.
Powers in the alley. Once in a while, he get a ball when he's standing in the alley.
He's got 1 foot outside in the green there.
And I love the drop shot and the possible opportunity of it. You got to be careful on a day like that. You got to be right up there, and the guy's got to be on his heels. Any drop shot can turn against you out here if it's the wrong one. Those 0-degree days, those were good drop shot days. Ball's like a rock. Oh, my. How about that for Nunez? Powers triple
Team
set
Nunez
point.
Powers, we're tied 6-all, first set.
Okay, and he just
Tiebreaker.
walks right up there, Salazar. He didn't even take 2 seconds. And Powers fires it right back. I thought there would be like a 5-second, like,
Maybe.
all right, take
No.
a second.
Nope.
I mean, I thought he would just give it to me, Mike. You know,
Right.
I need 5 seconds. He just walks up to the line and serves.
This is living up to the billing, isn't it? I mean,
Well, it's unique, and you do bring up a great point. You know, do they need to, or should they switch in the backcourt, Regalado, Salazar, you know, just to change it up? I mean, if the dynamic is going like that and it's only defense one way, I think the answer would be yes for me.
yeah.
You know, and it's not to fault Salazar. It doesn't mean he's not performing. He's doing ridiculous things up there. But even just for the break aspect of it.
Yeah.
And the honest truth is, how do you know, as good as Salazar has gotten defensively compared to 2 years ago, but 2 years ago, what almost brought them the national championship when they first got there was switching in the backcourt.
Yeah.
They went from getting carved up to evening this thing out to actually being right there on the doorstep. If anything, they had as good a chance to win it as Nunez Powers did, you know, that year. So it's hard to, regardless of how somebody's improved one way or another, just ignore that sort of historical data.
The history
Right.
is. And it, he could, it'd give him a little break because he's, working his tail off in that deuce corner. And I think Nunez does such a good job of the multiple overheads hit to the same player. And he's hitting multiple overheads, but never the same overhead in a row.
Yeah.
He is absolutely kind of working them.
Yeah, and he's really working. I mean, you could see the amount of movement that Salazar is going inside, out, and he moves him again, and that's a testament to what you're talking about. He's just giving him a different one each time, and each one moving to spins him to the middle. Then he goes inside out, and it goes around his back to the forehand side. Now he's pushing him in. Now here is the switch in the backcourt. And let's see if they continue with this. I don't think they're going to switch back. I'm pretty sure this is what they're going to do. And in a weird way, I think they have to. Because when it's like this, it doesn't matter if Powers is involved. Powers is involved by, if they do take a strike, he's going to get up there and make a volley, and which he's fantastic at. I mean, it's not that Powers is a bad overhead either. But, if they could find a way to get Powers involved in the overheads, but he's literally standing in the out.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of space that Nunez isn't covering. But in the backcourt, they need to get Regalado involved. And if it's switching shies that takes it, then great. This is so good. Coverage outstanding. But Regalado literally was standing there for 10, 15 balls at a time. If he's not involved, I mean, that's a perfect game plan, for Powers and Nunez to be able to isolate. And that'll allow them to kind of, that's a good touch. Nice. Oh, he misses it wide. In a strange way, that wasn't that tough a ball, but all the transition, all the action, the back and forth.
And the fact, I think,
You see the
that's a
billion
pressure
balls.
pack to drive because he's like, if I don't hit it
Perfectly.
well, even though it was relatively easy shot, what made it difficult is who's on the other side of the net.
Yeah. Oh, big
Boy.
serve.
It's funny, we've had 4 missed drives.
Yeah, and
In
didn't
this
look like
tiebreaker.
that killer of a return. I mean, a serve either. It was deep, but he just mistimed it. Catches late. Nunez reads it. Good move. Good move. Powers hits a great lob. Nunez sees he's on his heels, and he's got a likely chance of either a push up overhead or a down up overhead. Comes in, tattoos it. Nunez Powers with the mini break. Although in paddle, do we even bother calling it a mini break?
Well, I'd just like to say the Bud Collins mini break. You
Okay.
know, I mean,
You know what? Any chance for Bud Collins? And I heard that you actually got the Bud Collins pants and the whole outfit.
I've been known to wear some fancy pants every once in a while.
Golden Tones, fancy pants, Mike Raleigh. There you go. You gotten a little bougie too,
Yeah,
with all
of
your
course.
success out there in
Yeah.
the Chicago area.
3-all.
right, faults and returns,
It's
a little bit of the
interesting. It's
story
like
of this.
The level, you know, the level, it's seeing some uncharacteristic errors here.
Well, it goes from super high to
yeah.
routine error. I mean, this is very rare that you're going to see a match without any faults or missed returns. Of course, you are. But the dichotomy of the two different things, right, from these, crazy gets and points to quick error. And like we said, this is going to be the determiner. If there's any indication of how close this match is, it's just right here, the entire thing we're seeing. And interestingly enough, this whole match, Regalado Salazar have been up the game. They're the ones with a little bit of the opportunities, up 30 love, 3 set points, right? And Nunez Powers have been this entire tournament playing uphill. We talked about that. Is that a function that they've faced it so many times? Nunez, Regalado Salazar, they have not been under the gun at all. So it's interesting. Oh, that looked forced. I got to be honest.
Yeah,
that one looked forced, where the defensive Salazar finally got to him. And what a huge moment. What a huge moment. That's out. Wow. It's almost shocking because we had that other game early where 3 faults before, and it gave a quick break right back for Nunez Powers right after the first break he had.
Another fault.
Amazing. Wow, 5-4 Nunez Powers.
5-4 Nunez Powers.
And with all the great things that are happening in between, like we talked about, it's just little execution errors that are going to end up being the difference. There you see in the background there, a Nunez. There's a Guille Nunez face being waved into the camera. Those are going to be out there. No. All right, so Salazar on a little bit of a valley here. We talked about the peaks and valleys. 2 faults, missed drive in this tiebreaker, missed lob there. 2 set points, Nunez Powers. And we talked about in the match against McNerney Morgan, it felt like Nunez Powers kind of lost the first set or gave it up. They stole it, McNerney Morgan. And this set's got to feel that way for Regalado Salazar.
Yeah.
And there you have it as they chest bump it. Now, what's interesting about this, and we'll get to it when we come back.
Nunez Powers, they win the first set.
Yeah, we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
A lot of founders start out with an idea, maybe in a garage, in a shared workspace, and really being a co-pilot along that whole journey from ideation to execution to maybe monetization one day is really the role we've decided to take in the marketplace. So I feel like we have really found a part of the market and offering that just really hasn't existed. It's this coaching, it's therapy, it's co-piloting on a journey that is unique.
Luxury requires no invitation. Presence needs no introduction. Every detail exists with intent. Elegance reveals itself quietly. Range Rover, the culmination of elegance at Land Rover Parsippany.
The people are the reason we've been around for 40 years. They're the reason it's a fun place to work. They're the reason we're successful. It's always been our differentiator. When you're thinking about making an investment, you want to be looking at it from every angle. We have a group of people that just cares about each other and cares about the mission of CLOS.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Mike Raleigh alongside the one and only Brad Easterbrook at Canoe Brook Country Club with this final match between Regalado Salazar and Nunez and Powers. Brad, we've got to take a check at the court director stats here because it's
Yeah, quite
Pretty amazing.
tail of the tape there. Get after it, Mike.
You know, and we played 13 games, I guess, and they're separated by 1 point. But I think the match really came down to the service game.
Sure.
3 faults.
Yep.
And then the
tiebreaker
tiebreaker it wasn't a clean tiebreaker by any means.
By
from either
anyone,
team.
really, but one person had a worse valley, right?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of slipped away. All the way Regalado Salazar were kind of closer to the target, right?
Yeah.
And they get up love 30. They get up love 30 for 2 games in a row. Then they have 3 break points. And you see on the court director stats here, break point chances, 1 of 6. Nunez Powers, 1 of 1.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a back and forth, things. And then we got the mini breaks and the tiebreaker. They just traded them back and forth, but they traded them back and forth with like missed returns and then faults.
Yeah.
And interspersed were these crazy points. And of course, the story of the first set is, basically Nunez against Salazar. You know, cut, attack, move. Salazar on the defense almost exclusively. They did not switch. They switched maybe 1 time. Will they switch now in this second set? Will they make that adjustment? It has to. The weird part is, Mike, I don't know that Nunez Powers are going to know what to do. They're not playing from behind. They're the ones stealing the set now.
Yeah.
Like they actually won the first set. They have won a couple first sets here, but they've lost the first set a couple of times out here. They're playing from ahead. They might be really confused.
Yeah, you're a little bit speechless on the end of that set. How it just, you blink and all of a sudden it's completely
well, look, they're
flipped.
up 4-3, and then it's 2 faults, and then it's 7-4. There was a good look at a drive in there. But look, we talk about this all the time. All these athletes have to have is a short memory. Look, you got to just patch it in there, and he knows. Salazar knows. Like, he smashed his paddle against his leg, at the end there, and he's like, geez Louise, there was some things that slipped by, and this is a set that Nunez Powers, they snuck this out.
Hey, Mark,
Part of it's just, hey, you compete, you get out there. These guys are doing all that.
Yeah.
You're giving yourself the chance to do it, right? But Nunez and Regalado Salazar know they were sort of on the up the entire way.
Yeah.
Just couldn't close it out. And in both those games where they were up sort of like 30 love, the one they did get the 3 break points to, how it ended was kind of interesting. One Nunez just carved it up and they hit that perfect, cutter drop shot winner. But the other 2 was like a missed lob out. But that said, it's after 100 defensive balls, so it's not so easily put into category, oh, you just missed a ball wide, right? Because you hit 100 before it. Right, but crazy set, Mike. Well, we got the 1 and 2 seeds here, and
Hey guys, new ball.
yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got, Mike. What do you got? What do you got?
You pretty much summed it up. I think, moving forward, they're going to make any major changes.
Tiernan Cavana on the way out. Bye, Tiernan, former president, now just a competitor out there.
Competitor.
I got just a text from David Jelson, of course, well loved in the paddle community.
Over here, yep.
Basically the starter of Viking Athletics, starter of Master Athletics, and just
Love
an all-around great guy.
Love him, Hall of Famer, baby.
And I texted him a while back, nobody to have a cigar with me anymore because I'm a cigar aficionado, and so is he. And he just texted time for another cigar, and I think he did that just to upset me. But look at that shot that Nunez starts this off the way he has been doing it all along. And Nunez Powers have dialed this up perfectly. Powers has done some damage. He's cut a finish, and he's rolled it into the screen. But it's clearly designed for Nunez to do the damage, right?
Would you say getting off to a quick start here, is it more important for one team or the other?
That's interesting. I think what's important for Salazar is just forget about that first and just play this as a 2-set match. And then the quick start, I don't think it matters. I think they need to be more adaptable, willing to make the switch if they need to. And then, honestly, when they had their little moments, just be more judicious about them. I like the fact that these guys are going at each other. You know, like they're not afraid. Like lockdown mode, we really haven't seen. Maybe they need lockdown mode 1 point a match. Like when they get to that love 30, let's get that 1 point, right? And then and I feel like there were a couple of moments that were slightly, I don't want to say the word squandered, but that were a little that might have been a little cavalier with.
Sure, sure. What a get off the nick from Salazar.
Oh,
he's not only doing a great job at defending his corner, he's doing a great job at defending his partners.
No, the ask has been outstanding for Salazar right now. He's been put in the washing machine.
30 love.
He's getting ball after ball. The issue is he's such a good ball striker. And can you even say the ball striking has even factored 1 iota?
Not.
Yeah, because he's just under such pressure out there. And then if they get any type of medium strike, it's like a half a strike.
Yeah.
And then they volley so well, it just doesn't even matter. Oh, that's just another, and that time it's Powers doing the dirty.
40 love.
Yeah,
Boy.
great job.
That ball jumps off the deck and then explodes off the screen.
Yeah, and the thing is, it gives you that pause, too. He's not sure if it's going to cut right away
Yeah.
or where the action's going to happen, and that's what
Game,
happens.
Nunez Powers, they lead 1 game to love. Second set. Nunez Powers won the first set, 7-6.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, this is the men's final, Canoe Brook Country Club men's national final. This is for the big prize. I'm Mike Raleigh alongside Brad Easterbrook. Regalado Salazar losing the first after having 3 set points.
Yeah, it's just been a highly competitive set. And, you got to love the fact that these guys are, the respect they're giving each other out there. We've talked about this. These guys know each other well enough where they're going for what they need to go for, but not forcing anything else. And there's a heat. That's the
big
heat.
Ball
That's
right
the
at
heat.
the volleyer.
The heat hard. And it's tough in this hot weather. It's 60
I think
plus on the court.
They've had 4 or 5 of those missed volleys where the ball pops off the paddle long.
So much easier to deaden it, right, with the colder weather. So that's also just a smart drive. Go hard right at the body. And the other problem is, too, if the guy's not right on top of the net, you can't volley it down. You put any pace on it. You don't suck it all up, that pace. It can float on you.
She gone.
She gone. There you go. That's it. It's going to be very hard to make a ball land like a butterfly with sore feet out here.
Is that from last year's
That
Nationals?
is from last year's Nationals. I've been waiting all year. Oh, there you go. And there you see a switch in the backcourt. And that is, Regalado over there. Able to turn that overhead into some offense for Regalado Salazar. And I expect there's no way they're not switching in the backcourt this set. And even with all that, they still were in the driver's seat to win that set.
Yeah.
You can't say Salazar's defense was bad. It's just whether he has the opportunity to do what Regalado just did right there, like kind of slap shot that ball down. Maybe Regalado has a better opportunity for that. And just that alone might be enough to drive it to,
Wow,
to a winning shot.
Had a great drive there. Well placed.
30.
Yeah, they usually get out of the way so quickly and let those kind of go and transition back. It was a beautiful ball. Good move there from Powers up the side where I love that hold and lob. Then he stands in. That's out. He's getting what he wanted there, but it's just a little too hot to handle. Well,
Extremely
it's hot to
difficult.
handle.
Yeah,
It's
extremely
the weather there, too. I think he had the right touch on it, but it's just floating out. And there's another one. There's no way he misses that volley if it's 20 degrees colder.
40.
No way.
But it doesn't allow them. in order to transition, they have to get out of the way of that ball. So it's
Yeah.
adding that extra.
Yeah, stick
you
it
know,
right at him.
I mean, you saw there that ball was driven between them, and it was a rather pedestrian transition back, and they took the net right back over.
Yeah, because there's no one, because they're not forced to volley.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But that Powers drive right at them is.
Yeah, Nunez did one earlier, actually.
And if you think of when we're basically talking about 50% of the points are won on by either team. If I were to say, hey, here's a way to get 5 points in the first 14 games, by driving at them, would you take that? Right?
Oh, for sure, 100%. Right. Yeah. Good eye. He wasn't sure. I love that. Good communication. Wisely lets
30,
it go.
40.
All right, so 1 break point saved. And I think, while this isn't a backbreaker game, because Nunez and Powers have been there, that's a great return. Oh, and shockingly, he's not able to make the turnaround and go get it.
Nunez, Powers,
Powers, couple of huge drives in that game.
Powers is heating up here.
Hey, look, his forehand is one of the best in the game. We've always said that. And when he gets that good look, there's no way you can't start staying back or running some different service strategies at him. There is the switch in the backcourt. Yep. And I think smart. Now let's see if there's a switch in tactics. Will it still be Nunez just carving the ball up there into the deuce court? Or will he start swinging it wide? Or will Powers start doing a few more overs? Powers has finished a few, but the ball-to-ball washing machine effect, he doesn't do like Nunez does.
Yeah.
He can cut finish and he can win balls, but the full washing machine, like 60 balls in a row, you don't see quite as much of that. As good as his overhead can be.
Boy, and you look at the entirety of the season, and I mean, I was talking.
Ooh, he almost got an Adam Morgan got hit in the head yesterday.
Did he?
Trying, he couldn't quite. He knew what he was trying to do because he knew the ball was going to explode, but he didn't get out of the way enough, and it just plugged him in the head.
30-15.
I was talking with Damian Johnson, the APTA president. It's just about how special the community is.
Sure.
The paddle community, that these guys can be battling and
outstanding.
And then they're, having the beverage
40,
afterwards.
50.
And I just think that, like, regionally, you take, for example, the Indy guys. I mean, Murphy and Schneider, talk about a great tournament. They've had a great year. And, I mean, I think coming to the Nationals, for example, I get to see guys that, I used to compete against.
Sure.
And it just, you get back to, I mean, it brings you right back, but I really think that, I mean, these regional guys, like, for example, Tuna from Indy, I think he's played in 20 of these Nationals in a row, and they call him almost he's the 90s king.
Right.
He's the GOAT of the 90s with Ryan Baxter, and I just love getting texts from these guys.
Yeah, that's great. And you're right. What you're just talking about is how great the community really is.
Yeah.
And you're right on all counts. And funny enough, guys like Tuna should 100% get a shout out as much as you can, because it's the backbone of all the stuff that goes on out here. There's a big strike there. Few and far between. Good to see there for Salazar. All right, if they can somehow get this to deuce and squeak this game out, what a difference maker it'll be. Oh, that's a good quick block lob.
He's stealing time away from Nunez to be able to kind of load and set up for that huge cutter.
No switch in the backcourt yet. We'll see if he starts the cutting, if they do it. Problem is, once the cutting starts, to be able to get the lob high enough and get over there, the switch is going to be harder to make. You know, you might want to do it before it starts happening.
Yeah.
He missed it. All right.
That's that through ball.
Well, look, he's going to miss one or two, you know, here and there. We're at break point. This is a huge sudden deuce game here. 3-love lead for Nunez Powers.
Speaking of the Indy community, Brian Hagman just sent a text out.
Nice.
Man, that boy, their facility, what a job they did. Can't wait to see it live. I got to see it through calling that final.
Yeah, tell them to send me an IndyCar helmet, even though I never won the Indianapolis.
I know. I mean, it might be the greatest trophy.
I think Powers has 2 of them. Nunez has 2 of them.
Yeah,
it's very cool. Probably wear mine all the time. You know, to the bank, to work. Just never take it off.
Can you imagine seeing them like drive to the airport and they both have their helmets on?
I mean, I'm sure that's what happened. I don't have to imagine. I'm sure that's what happened.
20 miles an hour, you know, sitting at a stoplight. You
vroom,
just look
vroom.
over.
All right, here we go. Sudden deuce point, which is massive for Regalado Salazar here. And this would feel great for them. They find, oh my goodness, and it's right in the crease, and it shoots right back into his body. And they got it to deuce, but the frustration is mounting for Salazar there. 3-love Nunez Powers jumping out to the lead, playing from ahead. They're not used to that.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. It's time to talk about one of our great sponsors, Sealouse. And Sealouse is a woman-owned broker-dealer and asset management firm, delivering disciplined execution, innovative investment strategies, and trusted market expertise to clients across the country. A partner committed to helping our clients achieve their financial goals and being impactful in their community. Sealouse. All right, 3-love here. All the mojo kind of working against Salazar and Regalado. You know, the danger for Nunez at Powers is to somehow get off script, right?
Yeah.
You know, to get too much going on. But Powers' forehand is starting to heat up.
15-love.
It's an interesting place to be. A good first start to this game here. And the uncharacteristic faults, you know, I was talking for a second off air in our break, you know, with Mark Innes, our producer. And, you know, he said he doesn't think that Salazar's faulted 5 times on the season.
All season,
yeah. That's trouble. Oh, what a volley. Nice to be able to volley to get yourself out there. That's going to get hit again. So he's going right back at Salazar.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not like, so, you know, he's going right back at it. Switching back, and they're going back in there. They're going to work it this way. Keep the pressure on. Keep Salazar moving.
I mean, look at Powers climbing out of the way, climbing up the screen practically to get Nunez the full berth of that overhead.
Oh, good look. Nice transition. Finally, a really good lob there, which sets up that forehand. It's a good look for Nunez, but, you know, he's not going to make them all. He misses that one. That's out. We talked about the faults. They're looking for a confirmation. It definitely looked out from our vantage point.
30-15.
That one was close too.
Yeah, and you know, you play a lot of golf. You play a lot of, people talk about things like the yips and stuff like that. Things work on your mind.
Yeah.
In funny ways. Hey, look, it was an amazing Olympics, but as great as Malinan is, you know, any one moment, any performance, you know, you know, the course of the American skater, it's fascinating. And it can affect any athlete at any level. Those guys playing second base, Steve Sachs, Chuck Knobloch, can't throw it to first base, 20 feet, 30 feet, right? All of a sudden you get the yips or something happens. That's a huge screen drive. Taking a break, having a conversation while they push the overhead back into the middle. And they're going to go back to work. I think one thing is certain. There's no way Regalado Salazar aren't going to compete all the way to the end here. The reality is, we talked about this before too, though, they just haven't faced any of this real adversity here. This will be the first time for them. This has been like, you know, we talked about it the other way around. For Nunez Bowers, they might be confused being up, you know, all this way here. Great leave. Bowers can't get it. He almost ran into the net. Hands, drop. He's got it. The weather. They're just running side to side.
Just running laps.
They're taking laps. Take a lap, Nunez.
Boy, this is a huge point. Huge point.
Well, it's kind of one of these things where Nunez Powers have a, you know, comfortable 3-love lead, but the last thing they want to do is give them life.
Yeah.
Or give them free points or make them think like they got some cracks.
Give them any,
you know,
any
so
bit of
keep
hope.
pushing. Even if they can't get this game, make them keep working for every part of it. Great look. Oh, look at that spot. Easily transitioned back. This is great defense and good transition play from all these teams and good laps.
It's so typical of high-level paddle. They go from fast and furious to just pump the brakes.
Right back to neutral and slow it back down again. Get a reset and then find a new way to start your attack. Or that's it. And that time the heat cannot be handled by Nunez. I think that was a tough one to even ask to volley.
Yeah.
I think he's got to let it go through. So that's a huge point there for Regalado Salazar. Just get the first game here. Get your footing in this second set. After losing a heartbreaker in that first. Nice move, but that's going side fence. All right.
Regalado Salazar. Nunez Powers lead 3-1, second set.
That was big. You know, I always say it starts when you just get that first game, and it felt like whatever carried over from that tiebreaker started itself off into this break. When you get that first game now, let's get it underway. Let's go. Now it's here. Let's go.
Well, I think there was a span of, I think, 10 or 11 points in a row that Nunez, you know, from the end of the tiebreaker into that first and second game, they ripped off like 10 points in a row.
Hey, Johan, change over, get the leaves. Next step, change over, get the leaves. Yeah.
Mike Yahimski in the chair. He's probably talking to Johan Carlson, one of our other great umpires. I doubt he's talking to Johan Durant.
Get the leaves?
Yeah, he's got to get the
Clean
leaves.
the court.
We also don't even know what that means, really.
Oh, the mighty have fallen. Huh?
He goes from the Hall of Fame to picking up the leaves here at Canoe Brook. Yeah. Well, Johan's a very humble guy. He'll probably tell you that's what he's qualified for.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
All right, so Guillermo Nunez serving here. 3-1 Nunez Powers. I'm Brad Easterbrook with Mike Rowley in this incredibly competitive final round action. It's really exactly what you said in the first game. You hope we get as good a final as we did in the women's. We got it. And I can see it feels like they're going to try to lock it down here, but we'll see.
But, you know, it's an interesting if Salazar and Regalado are trying to slow things down, but here we have Guy Nunez. You know,
Well, he's the
speeding
master
it up,
speeding it up. Right, yeah.
And they're battling for who's going to be able to dictate that pace.
Yeah, so that's a good transition look. And they got a couple of good looks out of it, but you're absolutely right. And honestly, I thought we were going to see, and I was talking to, good friend and, great paddle mind, Jim Kaufman, and he does work some, a bit with Nunez and Powers, and, and of course, Jim Kaufman is the king of his answer to everything. We had a funny conversation off air, where he was like, a friend of mine said, I think it's a guy he works with. He's like, I think your answer to solving the national debt would be more push overheads.
Yeah.
So and slow it down, right? I expect to see more long, low through the middle. And really, it's been the other way around. I think the first couple of games had more of that. And now it's really just Nunez' ability to speed it up and Powers' ability to try to shut down the volley. And that's another hot volley that can't be handled. And we're seeing that take its shape here. Great point there. And then the other thing to see, we talked about peaks and valleys being a part of this in execution. Has there really been a valley for Powers and Nunez?
Well, it kind of, I'd say late into that first set, when they were down.
Yeah, they were missing balls in little batches and this and that, maybe a couple. The question is, everybody usually has one.
Yeah.
So the key is to stay in there long enough till you get your opportunity to capitalize on it, right? And I don't think they've had a true real valley. Unfortunately for Salazar and Regalado happened right there, sort of right in the middle of the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And then there were just a couple of points here and there where they had the lead and they needed to try to stretch it a little or.
Well, I think one of the keys to kind of when you are in that valley is, I always said, recognize it, own it, and be like, all right, that's going to be the worst, for example.
Yeah, you're going to move beyond. Right, yeah, we're going to go.
I mean, we've said shooters shoot, hitters hit, but also having the ability to recognize, all right, we expect that we're going to hit a valley, own it, and then move on.
Yeah, now it's starting to take a little different shape here. Slowing it down. And maybe Nunez gets back into speeding it up again. Oh, he's going the wrong way. Yeah, he went the wrong way. He should have waited on that and just spun right to the side. He went left first, and then he had to go to the right. He should have waited there and just kind of spun with it as it turned around and gone up the side. So he had to take 6 more steps. Doesn't come up with it.
He had to get out of the way first. And
yeah, but I think he could have actually gone the other way to get out of the way and started up the side wire, which he knows that's where it's going to end up. Yeah, Nunez variety, as you were talking about before, Mike. It's constantly on display. Third panel smash. Doesn't quite get enough on it to make a move enough, but still a good choice.
Great lob.
Yeah, and that was a look for them. I was surprised not to see Alvi Regalado, but he's not involved enough.
Yeah.
If there's a way they need to get him more involved. He's almost kind of a ghost out there.
Well, the hard part is that, with this, when you look at Nunez and Powers' position at the net, when Nunez is running the overheads, Powers is so far off to the left that even if Salazar lobs down the line.
Yeah, it's still Nunez's. Right. He has to literally hit it in the alley to make Powers hit it. And that's even close. If it's right on that single sideline, I think Nunez still hits it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's one thing for everybody to go, why doesn't he just make Powers hit more overheads? Because he can't.
He's trying. I mean,
right? You know, because he can't.
Look right there.
You know, like.
He had one foot on the double sideline and the other foot in the green hitting that overhead.
Correct. It's first of all, he's struggling just to control the overheads, number one. Number two, the window is so tiny. See, even that.
Yeah.
That is literally in the alley. And Powers is out of the way. And Regalado's so uninvolved, he's not even moving around. You know, like he's kind of just waiting.
And all of these overheads are just setting up to what Nunez hopes is that short ball that he can hit the cutter.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't given him that yet. They're all just deep enough. But it's not like they're, you know, pushing way past the service line and getting time to set up and get some offense going.
Oh.
Not that time. And that's huge. All right, 30-15 Regalado Salazar. They're, you know, it feels like they're going into lockdown, although he had a couple of key, like, little strikes, you know, like just to keep him honest and to keep him going. Not lobbing every ball, a little unpredictable. That one got a little lower than some of the others. It seemed like it was a little farther away from him. I'm not going to say it wasn't a doable ball for it. It was just a little far. It wasn't like some of those others. And you can see how Nunez is, like, when you see, he doesn't turn his shoulders. It's open stance and square. And that what that allows him when he's hitting it, if you just watch, that's amazing, is that it just allows full rotation. It's not his, so, you know, his left leg is actually out to the, you know, to his right. He's not turned the other way with his right leg up and in front of him, because if you do it that way, he's now forced himself to try to get an extra rotation. Now he's just wide open and ready to rotate, because you see part of the overhead that he's hitting there. It's just a full, all he's doing is just rotating, cocking the racket up here, and he's just rotating right around the outside, letting it drop. So he's doing it open stance like every time. Everybody has like a misconception on it. That's a sick shot. He finally gets the offense, and here's the moment that we needed. This is sort of the energy for Regalado Salazar. Play the defense, but finally get the offensive look and the offensive take, and he turns that against him.
And you see Salazar seems to be, you know, he's almost like seeing so many balls that they've worked him back into a great place.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, because there is that point, like, where you work a guy into better shape by working him over so much. And you're not wrong at all. And maybe they take a break or they move in different directions. So Nunez and Powers can certainly do it. But they're not going to probably do that until they get behind or until it gets 3-all or something. You know what I mean? Like, they'll probably keep working until that point. But it's interesting. You're not wrong. Yeah, maybe he's just getting better and better as time goes on, but that time, right at the body.
Couldn't handle the spin.
Yeah, he's moving him around.
40.
Like he goes right over to Regalado, gives him the fist pump. And you can see, like, on the elbow there, it's a little blue tape on Powers. He took a good slide yesterday. He went down in his match against Ernie Morgan, scraped all the skin off his elbow. The court's got a little film on him, you know, at night. We're not going to have any of those issues today. Nice and warm and dry. A little bandaged up, a little blood, but nothing that's going to, you know, affect anything today. That's it. That's it. Here we go. Same thing. Hitters hit. Misses one earlier. This is a much better ball to do it on. He's closer. He's in. He's got it above the net. Yes.
Above the net.
Not below it. If it's below, the only thing you could do is do the one that spins back into the net. It's just a totally different shot. And the honest truth is he's only done a couple of, ooh, great. And then Powers, even though he's playing like 1 ball out of 5, that's what he's there for, to hit that one volley that is tough and have those great hands. He's got such soft hands on his forehand volley. All right, this is an absolutely huge point. Another sudden death game. And there's a huge difference. We always talk about it between 3-2 and 4-1. Oh my gosh, just wide. I'm not sure. They let it bounce. That is incredible momentum change for Regalado Salazar.
Second set.
And
Nunez
it's
Powers won the first set, 7-6.
time to talk about pure hockey. With cutting-edge fitting technology and the widest selection of hockey gear, Pure Hockey is the ultimate destination for players of all levels and the industry leader in hockey retail. Pure Hockey.
Still got two more games on that.
That was a massive game there for Regalado Salazar, and you can feel a shift in the momentum,
Yeah.
right? Down 3-love. When they started this set, the energy was bad. It was bad from the loss of the tiebreaker.
No, I'm good.
And,
Thank you, though.
came out a little flat. And a couple of huge shots there, Regalado. And, Salazar's able to turn the tables, get some offense while he's playing the defense in there. And then just that last one, a miss wide. So kudos to them. And we're back in the ball game.
Yeah, it's been a dogfight, but now they're in the trenches.
I'm good. Thank you.
You know, Mike Marino just texted me, and he said that just amazing how well Nunez is handling, not missing that overhead where he's moving basically on top of Powers' position and still able to attack that deuce corner. I mean,
Correct. It's not so simple. And the ask, he's hitting, what percentage of overheads is Nunez hitting for the team?
85.
Yeah. I mean, so that's a large ask.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of balls. And he's missed a couple, but his overall percentage and the damage done, it's been incredible, right? And they can switch it up to a degree, but it's been so effective. Why would they?
Yeah.
And his consistency with it has been exceptional.
I mean, the only overheads I think that he's missing are the ones where he is going for more. So kind of.
All right, a couple lob errors in a row. We talked about peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Maybe a little moment here for Regalado Salazar. They're certainly feeling energy and momentum. Oh, just on top of each other. Oh, and it's almost like they're confused Powers. He's like, what are they doing over there?
Happened?
Hey, you guys are hindering me. That looked like an easy forehand. And he looked, well, that's not going to get traveled. It did. Unbelievable get. He's took it off his hat, and he's putting it back on. He's still
Gotta
working
fix
it. He got it. That's crazy. I didn't think that could be gotten, but it got off our camera, so hard to see. That's out. All right, so here's a little valley, right?
Yeah.
Here's our little valley. That was a big hit.
Second set.
And I wonder if that was the kind of like, all right, stop this. Like, I'm ripping this, and goes in, doesn't go in. Either way, it feels good. All right, that's over with now. Let's get rid of this valley. Let's go. Because, that's a huge, huge turnaround in momentum and everything else. When these guys played their final in Short Hills, the first set was 7-6, and it felt like every point shifted momentum.
Yeah.
Like it was 30-40. Now it's 40-30. Oh, they
It's
got
your
the
turn to
momentum
have the
now.
momentum.
Right,
Now
right,
give it
exactly.
back.
Yeah, and it was just like, but it felt literally point to point, not like a series of 3 games, and that's how tight it was. And these guys are, very evenly matched. So whenever something happens to sort of throw that out of kilter, you got to get it back right away, right? And you're just going, is that the wrong shot? Not necessarily, but now we're in a bad patch.
Yeah.
Love 15.
Maybe
2 or
for the
3
way
misses
that
in
the
a row.
momentum is turned, that might not be the shot at that moment.
Hard, yeah. Hitter's
No.
got to hit kind
Yeah.
of thing, though. But it almost feels like things are turning. That's a great scramble. What hands and touch just to get that and have the touch to keep it in. Right at the crease. Good close. He sees the opportunity, and that's out.
Love 30.
Mike, I see you shaking your head. You want to say something?
No, it's amazing. It's just, I'm at the edge of my seat here.
And just the momentum, the air is going out of the balloon here.
Love 40.
Regalado Salazar capturing all of it right now. Nunez Power's got to take a minute.
Yeah.
And it feels almost like a little of both. Like Nunez definitely kind of just missed a few balls, but he's also been doing the lion's share of what they need to do, right? And
Regalado Salazar.
and it feels like Power's kind of now is riding the negative wave a little bit too. So tough call here. But if I'm Nunez Powers, I take a minute.
Yeah.
Little walk.
Well, and you saw Regalado sprinting to the other side,
yeah.
So.
And this is the valley here for Nunez Powers. And, Regalado Salazar have is that 8 or 9? 8-point streak going right now.
9. That's a 9.
Yeah, a 9-point streak. Oh, my God, my eyes that bad? Yeah, 9-point streak. All right. They've hit some good shots, but it's just been a bunch of uncharacteristic errors.
Yeah.
Too. And one after another. Not like just one after another. And there's another one, right?
Yeah.
10-point streak. And there is nothing that they needed more than this, Regalado Salazar.
Oh.
But the thing that started it off, was just Salazar's ability to defend and get a couple of looks on it. And then you can almost take it back to one shot, like one missed little cutter or something like that. And then it just springboarded this whole thing, and that's wide. And now, is Nunez getting tired? He's hit 80% of the overheads, right? Is he getting tired? That one he sort of stretched for, is similar ball than he's had the entire time. Does Powers need to take more overheads? Because it looks like he's left the building.
Yeah.
40 love.
And that's 12 points in a row.
All right, breaking the streak.
40-15.
And it was only about 5 minutes ago that we were talking about Nunez Powers having a 4-1 lead.
Yeah.
That's out. That's out. I think they're shaking their fist, but what we're seeing is just a complete disintegration of the game plan they had.
I mean, if you were a coach and you were able to call a timeout, this definitely would be
timeout.
All right.
But you might even sub in.
Yeah.
Here, let's get our, because
timeout.
Or Powers has got to be like, listen, let me take a few of these. Let's slow it down for a minute, and let's go. But all right, so at one time it could have been 4-1. Nunez Powers 5-3 now, 12-point streak for Regalado Salazar. All the momentum their way. All right, another point.
15.
I mean, maybe they're just going to mail it in and capture their energy for the third set at this point because it's sort of what it feels like.
Yeah.
And if Powers can do something like, take over a little bit or maybe, they can change what they're doing. Yeah, he's just hitting shots now. He's going to do it again. But these feel more like exhibition shots, not design plays.
Look at the crowd is
Great
just
shots.
going bonkers.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't they? It's great gets. But now it's like, complete change. And you can see Nunez there when he got it. He's just walking off the court. Yeah, this thing's going 3, and they're just going to mail it in. Now they got to really take a minute in between these. You see any comeback here? Unless there's something marked, like we have 3 faults in a row or 3 missed returns just suddenly. It just feels like they're resigned to the count of the 3. And, oddly, 100% of what got them the first set, a lot of it was, Salazar attacking Nunez, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Nunez attacking Salazar with the overhead. And we said how Salazar still was doing an amazing job. He was still getting 50 back, no offense and no nothing. Nunez has hit 85. He's hit like 1,000 overheads.
Yeah. But I think
maybe that took a toll on him. The other way around. Like, it's like Foreman beating up Ali, rope-a-dope. And then all of a sudden in the later rounds, he's toast.
But I think where it did change.
All right, this is big here. A couple little misses and give him a game. This would be a massive. This would be massive.
Yeah, the momentum shift. I think Salazar was able to kind of weather the storm, but then there were 2 points there where he was able to create offense out of that deuce side.
At this point, I might actually want Nunez hitting the overheads. No, meaning like, You
mean as Regalado Salazar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he missed it wide. This is big. Wow. See, once again, these moments now, all of a sudden, if they lose this game, they're giving them the life. Crazy. They're going to stay. Powers with the move. All right, set point now for Regalado Salazar.
Deuce.
Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, they're going to go right back at it. And he's done a better job. Regalado Salazar, 6-3 in the second set.
Boy, oh boy.
Salazar, they win the second set, 16.
We'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming brought to you by Joho and Streambox Labs.
The business owners that I'm working with have entrusted Corient in this work because we're really focused on supporting them in their important endeavors. They're functioning every day in their zone of genius, and their expectation of us is we're doing the same. My name is Anna Diaz. I'm a partner and wealth advisor at Corient. When we think about the work we're doing for our clients, we think about first financial, absolutely. It is not uncommon that our very successful business owners and clients are making disjointed decisions. Our job is to provide a proactive strategy so the filter in which they make these decisions is informed. Second is the emotional load. Our clients often are asking themselves, what am I missing? Our job is to remove that mental load so they feel that their strategy is optimized, is simplified, and is executed cleanly. And the third is generational. Absolutely, there is technical design that goes into that, but it is also the thoughtful impact they want to have with what they've created.
Success takes hard work. Making success a legacy takes discipline. TPAC Private. Your legacy, our discipline.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Mike Raleigh here with Brad Easterbrook at Canoe Brook Country Club with this men's national final between Regalado and Salazar and Nunez and Powers. And Brad, it was like someone flipped the switch there with the momentum at 3-1?
3-1 Nunez Powers, and we get to that sudden death point there, and they just pushed a little wall wide. Now it's 3-2, and all the air kind of came out of the balloon at that moment, and it was a 12-point screen. Let's bring up our court director stats for that second set. And it'll be one-sidedly, skewed down the road, but that's because the longest point streak, the 6-point streak came right in the beginning after the deflated and, that rough tiebreaker that Regalado Salazar had, and it sort of carried on into the beginning of that set, which catapulted Nunez Powers to the lead. Actually, Nunez Powers were up 3-love, right? And we were talking about them just getting their first game, and then they got that one, and then the next one came down to that sudden death. And then from that point forward, 12-point streak, and it was almost like the ability of Salazar to kind of defend took its toll on Nunez. He got a little offense on a couple of them, made a couple of crucial shots, and then it was just a lot of mistakes.
And we talked about it a little bit too. I think Salazar was able to work himself, or they were able to work. He was able to work himself into a much better position.
Sure, he started to strike balls in between. He didn't just lob every ball. He was taking a quick backhand. So he was able to get a few drives. Then he hit a couple of turnaround offensive shots that were super impactful. And then it was so odd at the end there. It was almost like they were giving him life right back. And then quick end again.
Snatched it away from him.
Yeah. So it's unique. This is like the worry here, all the energy is for Nunez and for Regalado and Salazar at this moment. Nunez Powers, I hope they took a moment, settled it back down. They've competed so hard this entire weekend. Maybe the great thing about it, and I said this earlier, they haven't been ahead much, so maybe they need to get a little behind before they can get ahead again. So this is great. We're looking forward to a final third set here. And, for Nunez, it's just a reset. Forget about it, he was asked to do a lot in those first couple of sets, and his ability to sort of, control things with the overhead can be exhausting, mentally as well as physically.
Yeah.
And you got a text, actually, from one of the all-time greats, Mike Marino. And Marino was remarking how impressive it was that Nunez was taking every single overhead one after another, and even from the single sideline on the deuce court, still, and making them with consistency. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
And once that sort of dam broke open, it broke.
Yeah.
I expect this has to get more measured now. Like they were feeling each other out in the first set a little. I think it will some more. They actually switched back the other way now. They're fully committed to Salazar in that deuce, and we had talked about, them switching, and they made a conscious decision they're not doing it.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, Mike, he kind of worked himself where he was definitely doing a much better job, not actually defending, because he did a really admirable job doing that even in the first set. It's more that he was able to take a couple of well-timed strikes in between the defense. Love that firepower.
15-all.
Not only was that forehand hit so hard, but he got it up into that right shoulder area.
Yes, great ball. Powers right there on top of the net looking for that. Still a good look there for, Regalado. Powers just firing here in the get-go of this set. He's going to get that. That's going to spin off the wrong way. Oh, good digs there. Can't come up with that one. Did I just hear a big come on from Powers?
Yeah.
I think I did. I love it. Nunez, you don't hear a lot of come ons from Nunez.
No?
He's pretty cool customer. That's out. Great start. Exactly what Nunez powered.
They needed that. The boy did they
You
need
know,
that.
little reset here. Now, here's the big side of the coin, though. They got the break there, and that was a well-played game. You could see Power came up firing.
Yeah.
And at the net, this is where it sort of all broke down. Like, you know, like it looked like, is Powers going to still not take any of the overheads and Nunez just going to get back to it? Or are they going to even out a little bit? And do they recognize that Salazar's gotten a little better at this? Maybe our scheme's got to change a little. You can't just do one after another. Or maybe we got to slow it down at a certain point, then pick our spots to attack, not one after another. Because Salazar has definitely improved his ability to, it's not like Nunez can't get him, but he can get a quick little strike. See, I like that. Take a few, and on the right ball, take another, and then go again. And maybe he even just needs a break from loading and unloading on one overhead after another. He was doing 15, 20, you know, in a row. Now this looks like lockdown mode to me. They're just hanging. Love that little drive. He looks like he's going to push lob, and he just kind of flattens it down. And when this lockdown mode comes and you stop hitting the offensive overheads, it's hard to just decide to do it again.
Flip the switch.
You notice how it's always easier to do all of one or all of the other, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy to do here and there. You know, they can do this. Now they're going to start probably doing this for a while, and then maybe if they get the right ball, they'll just try to hit a cutter. But then it just becomes harder to do that. You know, like, so it's interesting. I feel like this third set's going to be a battle of wills.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, of course, execution, like we said. But I think they're all looking to just simply minimize their valleys. You know, like just try to play somewhere in between. Forget the peaks.
Yep.
Just don't have the valleys. All right, Powers cuts it in there. Do you think that spin came off his paddle and pushed it wide?
I think, or he's, you know,
He
for a,
tried to make too good a shot?
you've got to aim it. Normally a righty spin will kick to the
Kick
left.
that way, so he's got to aim it to the inside more, to the middle of the court, yeah.
But the lefty spin, you have to aim to the right and let the ball break off your paddle. So there may be a, you know, the combination of defending the cut spin from Nunez and then having to all of a
Defend
sudden,
it from Powers,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Yeah, because it definitely looked like it spun off his paddle
Yep.
just a little and enough to push it wide.
Here's a little Nunez Powers 5-point streak.
Yeah, they had one in the beginning of the first set. Yeah, that first game was perfect for what they want, but I like this actually, just this pace here. And, you know, oddly, I think this pace works well for both teams.
Yeah,
It's giving Nunez a break.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it was a tough ask. You know, how many overheads he was hitting and unloading and spinning in there, and how much better Salazar was getting. Even though he's been put through the washing machine, he doesn't look like he's getting tired.
Yeah.
He looks like he's getting better.
Yep.
You know, like and I think it went the other way around. You know, so this is a good break for them too. I mean, it's not as exciting.
No, but
But I thought he was going to hit that. But these guys are just going to weather. Now this is just like, this is wills. You know,
yeah.
doesn't take high degree of skill to do this. What it takes is will and they might be competing on Wills here for a second. I like these looks from Powers, though. All right, he's going to speed it up again. That's where he's been so much better. Right there, that one shot. He's moving to the side, getting his backhand up, hitting it downward. Huge shot. It's been huge for them in this comeback for Regalado and Salazar. Yeah, he's got to just get that to spin a little more in there because he's beating it to the spot, and he knows it's going to be up high, and he's not having to dig and let it come off that side screen, so he's pushing it low. He didn't even hit that hard.
No. He didn't have to because he was able to hit down on it.
Yeah. Or maybe what's got to happen is when he does that, Powers closes, right? But he's so used to going left, Powers. You know, like he's going out of the way all the time. Maybe he's got to go forward. And then he could just cut it before it gets to Nunez, who's a little further off because he's the one doing the overhead work. He's going to hit that. Oh, little let cord. That one's going to get there. See, that's the one he wants where he has to turn and get it on his forehand side. That one's going to get hit, or he has the opportunity. No, flags that one. All right, 30-15, Nunez Powers. And of course, Mike, everybody out there should know, in the third set, we are playing this out.
Play it out. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic for you making your flight.
Yeah, good luck with that.
That ship may have sailed as well as the plane and everything else. But the match will not be decided by a tiebreaker here in this third set. They're going to keep going till somebody wins by 2 games.
This may turn into that like the Wimbledon match that went 3 or 4 days. Get Nunez cranking a little bit. Probably wants that one back. Didn't look very decisive on that overhead. Takes us to 30-all. If you're just joining us, I'm Mike Raleigh alongside Brad Easterbrook. Canoebrook Country Club here for the Men's National Championships being decided between Regalado, Salazar, and Nunez and Powers. Nunez Powers stole the first set 7-6 in a breaker after facing 3 set points. Regalado Salazar coming storming back after being down 3-1 in the second set to take the second set 6-3, and now we're at 1-love Nunez Powers and 30-all. Boy, and we're locked in here, Brad. It's 30-all, 1-love.
And you see we're going into lockdown mode.
Yes.
And you can see the complete change in the tenor of this match. I feel like this whole, like we said, I think it's just really going to be a test of wills. And then there's going to be this huge moment where somebody goes for the one shot, right? They make the cutter, Nunez Powers, or
great overhead
hit the big drive.
Nunez that time was able to get that ball a little bit closer to the up the back screen where Salazar isn't able to drive it. You know, we saw earlier he missed a spot a little bit too much to the middle and the ball hung up. Powers calling for the switch to get the lefty in the right proper position there.
There's a swinger, like it. Good block there from Regalado. Oof. Powers again, sorry. But that's been kind of a moment there. Like, there's so many balls one way, that's going to get hit. Nope, he's got an easy one, but he doesn't feel like he's got enough of a driver. He had to wait too long to see what it was going to do, where he couldn't set up something offensive. So smart, but easily tracked down. Powers at the crease.
Can you believe that Nationals used to be 3 out of 5 sets?
Yeah, in the 70s, right?
Yeah, 1989 was the last
89?
year. Yeah.
Really? How about that? Hadn't really seen a paddle court at that point in my life. That's going at the crease. Good block there. Yeah, test of wills here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the results of the Nationals. In 88, Baird and Mayer beat Kleinert and Kleinert 6-3 in the 5th set.
Kleinert, huge forehand. Yeah, Baird and Mayer are going to be all over that stat sheet.
Yeah.
You know, Baird, Mayer, and Goodspeed Mansinger by far leading in Nationals 1. Yeah.
And the great Hank Irvine. I mean, what a one of the game's greatest.
All right, this is great defense. Oh, I like that though, because he's so far he's have to be back there to hit all these overheads. I'm still not sure Power shouldn't be closing in once in a while. Problem is he's so busy going to his left. Like I said, I don't think it's easy to do. That's a good lob down the line. This is defense first. Now this is lockdown mode. Like we said, it's going to be a test of wills out here this 3rd set. And I think everybody's just going to keep, like you said, stay in the neutral zone. Don't have any swings of missing 2-3 balls, right?
Yeah.
Stay with no peaks and valleys, really. None. I don't think anybody wants any peaks.
Yeah.
I think they just don't want valleys. You know, they'll take a peak, but I don't think they're going to even hit enough to have one. You know what I mean? I think everybody's going to controlled in this set. It's going to end up being just a battle of wills, which I don't necessarily. I mean, I understand that. I think the team that tries to go for too much here will be the team that takes it away, loses, not wins. Well, that's huge.
Boy,
and that's huge.
Yeah. You notice, too, that in that game alone, Nunez has won 2 points off of that heavy roller into Regalado, into his body.
Yeah, and Regalado, he's hit the least balls by margin probably from anyone on the court, right? If you had that list, it's obviously Nunez and Salazar 1 and 2. I have no idea who's hit more, but clearly they've hit the lion's share of all the balls.
Yeah.
Power's definitely 3rd, and Regalado's in a distant 4th. Just from watching this, I mean, what would you say to that?
I'd agree.
Yeah, and so, like, he's not used to splitting and moving time after time. So when you come at him hard, he's kind of slightly more flat-footed. How many games have you seen where, Regalado hasn't had 5 blitzes or, by this point?
Yeah.
How many has he got? He a big fat goose egg probably.
Yeah.
Right, because they're taking it out of the play. And I thought it might have been good for them to switch just to get him more involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because he's really not involved.
And the only balls that he's seeing are kind of
hard,
variety,
difficult.
right?
Yeah, like, all right. You know, there's very little for him to create with, very little for him to string 2 in a row with.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no, I'm doing this, then doing that. It's just, I got this. And it's pretty much I'm blocking it back or lobbing it back.
You know, you'll see 4 or 5 overheads into Salazar. And then, so the only balls that Regalado, the majority of them are tough balls, right?
Yeah. No,
kind of that slinging
I
overhead or that hard roller.
Yeah, and then when Nunez goes against Salazar, the one shot to really look out for is when he swings it to the left like there, but deep. If Salazar can get up the wire first, he gets that backhand look high to low. I feel like that's the one look he gets or that he's created for himself or is looking for. You know, the one where he tacks it with the forehand, he's missed too many. Like he can get that one, but I don't. You know, he did hit a huge one though before. That was a great lob right on the line. Powers, quick forehand.
15
does not find the mark. Oh, but that was the hard one at the body. He just didn't really find the body. Way too high. It was never in to begin with. He's got to keep it a little lower. Misfired. Looked a little flat-footed, but look, this is pretty much precisely what these guys would need. Would be a quick game here. Exactly, just doesn't execute. Good high drive there. Great help call there from Powers. Yeah, just tattoos that with a continental.
Yeah.
You know, he just like slap shotted it right at him. But big mistake on the over. He's literally standing inside the court and he downed up and right to him. Right.
That one ball.
You know. All right, 40-15 though. Still a good chance for a nice, clean, easy hold. Dink and blitz. Nice lob volley. Powers unloads. Into the net. He's fading away. He wants to take a practice swing at it.
Nunez Powers lead 2 games to 1, third set.
Here we go. Mike Yahemsky laying it out for us in the chair. 2-1 Nunez Powers in this test of will third set. What do you got on the court director there for us, Mike?
Service games won by Regalado, and this is through the match. Regalado Salazar have very interesting. 75% service games won to 67% from Nunez Powers.
Yeah, that's basically based on the second set, though. You know, from the 3-2 down,
Regalado Salazar 4 of 12 of break points won, 3 of 4 from Nunez and Powers.
Yeah, the 4 of 12 is definitely telling. You know, the service games won actually is just 1 game difference. You know, like this is like 9-8, and then what a volley there! Right into the quick switch. That's a beautiful ball. Hands there from Powers. Yeah, and a lot of this season, you could see how much they worked on that over. This roller into the crease for Salazar has been a staple in their game on the season, and they haven't used it at all. Yeah, they're not looking to speed it up in there on these guys and let them create more.
Is it me, or do you feel like Nunez and Powers are playing a majority of more points from the net than Regalado Salazar?
Oh, they are. You know, definitely. And, you know, and they're definitely starting to have to just defend more Regalado Salazar. Offensive opportunities created, primarily done by Nunez. They're bringing it to him. They're both having, not like the other guys aren't, but Nunez Salazar creating much more, and therefore they're going the ball through more and then more attacks. And now it's just a couple of misses here.
Love 30.
As we said, keep these valleys to a non-minimum. Keep it in the middle zone. And when these guys get to win points without on their paddle, without having to hit the winner, that's it. That is the money right there. 1, 2, 3, big triple break point or quadruple break point here for Regalado Salazar. Oh, it's good. Nice get. That's a great close. Can Powers come up with it? He does. Digs it out. Yeah, what I love about Salazar and Regalado, they just keep, they're coming back. You could see he's pumped, Salazar. That's trouble. Ooh, got it. Just on the line. You're waiting for call?
Yeah, no, that was tight. That was close.
Now, have Nunez and Powers won a single point playing just defense against them? Great shot there from Powers as he fires it right into the body. Have they won a point just playing defense against them, against Salazar Regalado?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't expect it because Regalado Salazar don't give you anything for free, right?
No, but I'm saying, right, but they really haven't won any points playing just defense, right?
Yeah.
They're usually playing the off, like they're the ones doing more of the creation and attack. They're not playing off of it. But you can say that, you know, Regalado Salazar won 5, 6, 7, 10, whatever points playing just some defense or turning the defense off, right? You know, it's just a subtle shift in the way it is. So 2-all right now, and these guys continue to battle in style. And the momentum shifts again. 2-all. Powers Nunez get up 2-0 in this game. Quickly. In. Oh, slides it around there. Good.
Regalado's got to be careful. He's got to be respectful of that.
Yeah.
Last time we saw that forehand off the back screen.
Switching back.
The no look. Did you have a no look there?
Have a little bit of a no look. Powers reads it. Looked like he was trying to drop it a little, but goes a little heavy. But you're right. You know, Nunez Powers has been at the net 70% more probably than Regalado Salazar. Do you think they would want to start going back a little, like maybe, or no?
Boy, that's tough.
Going.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, when they go in this lockdown mode, it's going to get interesting here. Like I said, I feel like this third set's just a test of wills, you know. And dialing it up the way they've been doing it and, you know, creating most of the attack, they're the ones actually taking more of the risk. You know what I mean? Which means they got to keep playing better. I don't really have the answer. They've been able to carve it up pretty good. But Salazar's gotten much better in his defense. They got to do 100 of these, you know, just to, you know, to win the point.
Great lob.
That's out.
15 love.
All. Faults definitely played a little factor in this match.
Yeah.
Faults have played a factor. Can he dig it? He's got it. Well done. It's a great blitz. All right.
15-30.
Expect Powers to tee this one up. Oh, bigger serve. Huge return. Good soft hands. They're just going to bail. Ooh, good call there from Powers. I don't think Nunez was looking to play that one.
On the text line, I got a call from one of Exmoor's finest, Lisa Nyhan. She said, lobbing down the line. What do they gain from the lob down the line, Brad? And why would you recommend that?
Well, lobbing down the line is a great way to get yourself out of trouble, meaning the angles into your corner become less and less, so it forces the play to the other side. It also, when you lob down the line, because you're forcing to play that way, you can set up your partner and drive the ball to go towards an offensive play if you do it well. Oh, that's a money hard ball right there. And again, I think that's right at the crease. And you see that ball, he's expected that ball to come to his right. And it went straight over him. 2 break points or 3 break points, triple break point here for Nunez Powers. Oh, wow, so good. Powers in quickly. And that is out. Fist pump. Let's go back.
3-2, Nunez Powers.
And the returning team is starting to get an advantage. The last game that was served out there, a couple of huge returns, a little hot to handle the volley. That time, a couple of thunder ones in there through for Nunez Powers. Things heating up in the moments. It's definitely a test of wills out here, but it's good. Nunez giving the pumps up. You don't really see Nunez give a lot of the fist ones. Powers had the fist one. Nunez, cool customer.
Yeah.
Cool
in
customer.
Both ways, too.
Yeah. He misses, he walks around. He just walks. He also doesn't do that kind of thing. A lot of these guys are all trained great junior tennis players. They're all trained to stand and bounce on their feet, show the positive emotion at all times. He didn't do that either. He just kind of walks from side to side. Casual customer. Oh, slippery. Good shot there, but
so there's that lob down the line, forcing the play back to Regalado.
That's a big one. Yes. What a dig. He's going to go hard cutter. Woo! Big time.
Baby. He cut that thing like he hated it, didn't he?
I mean, he loved the result. Oh. Look at this. But he set it up perfectly. And you see what he did there is he also cuts it in there. He knows he's not going to get the other one, so he goes straight to the net. Beautifully done. Quick lob. That's going to be good. It doesn't quite get the setup ball, but that was well done. Yeah, what a huge shot that was.
It's amazing how a shot like that from Nunez can absolutely flip that momentum. Just, the momentum was short-lived, but but it sometimes can absolutely flip the switch.
Sure. There's no question a shot like that gives you energy. You almost want to take a second to enjoy it. I think they went back to the line too soon.
Oh, I would have taken
let the momentum get to you. You would have taken a couple of laps.
I've been looking at the crowd,
Yes. Yeah, you would have probably done all that.
Hand up to the ear.
The good thing was you probably only would have done 2 laps and you would have gotten tired. So. No, but almost take a moment to let it soak in, weirdly.
Yeah.
Because it was a huge shot. He's going right back at it there. Another huge one into the overhead. And it's, clearly if Nunez Powers can take this thing down, the Nunez overhead. I've had 2 or 3 texts already, and they're just simple texts. Nunez overhead is sick. Nunez overhead is filthy. Nunez, right?
Yeah.
And it just is. And it's not that Powers hasn't even put away 2 or 3 on his own. But the ball-for-ball consistency that Mike Marino was talking about, right? That he's doing it one after another. It's crazy good. Oh, it's a look there for Salazar. Went for the kind of off-pace dipping drive. I'm surprised he doesn't he really hasn't taken one and teed it up at the body.
No.
That hard one at the body. And it might be good for him to unload a little bit.
That ball seemed to be a little reachy.
Reachy?
Yeah.
Reach.
Is that a word, reachy?
Absolutely. It is
we're
now.
We're both using it. Yeah.
It is now.
So if one of us said it, maybe not, but since we both said it.
But one of the things we talked about earlier, you had, one of your Exmoor people call in and ask about the lobs down the line.
Yeah.
Has been Nunez's ability to attack even when they get the lob down the line. He can still throw that low one in there, and it spins all the way, even though it's going completely straight, to the side wire. So still attacking the deuce corner, even when the lob is straight down the line. And that's an X factor, and that's what these teams have. These teams are here because they have the X factors, right?
Yeah.
They have the shots that do things that are out of the norm. Powers coming in and cutting off those volleys there, with a forehand. He's probably got the best forehand volley in the game, or certainly one of them. They have X factor shots, and he's in close, and such a smart move from Guille Nunez. When the ball's in close, he goes hard at the body.
Watch, all set up with that slash through.
Slash
the court.
goes in, and he's up.
And then whammo.
Boom. And he can't get set because he has to block it quickly. All right. We missed that point there, but 40-30. They really want to get this separation, Nunez Powers.
Have you noticed any limitations in Nunez's
Oh, what
movement?
a great lob. Limitations. No, he seems fine.
I just got a text from Chris Warner, the pro at Michigan Shores. He said, do you think there's any limitations there?
Interesting. In that moment, because there was that patch, right?
Yeah.
It felt like there some sort of deep-seated weariness set in.
But I think,
movement, I don't know, mental movement maybe.
Yeah.
But not. No, I'm not sure. I don't see it physical.
We haven't seen a lot of his stylistic blitzing, but I think that's attributed
they're at
to
the net all the time.
Regalado Salazar as well. When they are in the backcourt, Regalado and Salazar have been shutting down and not really opening up the door for Nunez to do his thing.
What are you talking about, with his overheads or with the backcourt blitzes?
Backcourt. I think the backcourt movement.
Yeah, but they're not in the backcourt.
Yeah,
They've been in the net like 65 to 70% of this net. I mean, they'll take it if they get it, but he's made a couple.
Yeah.
But they're really spending their time here. This is it. It's Regalado Salazar defense and the ability to possibly turn the attacking overheads of Nunez and Powers into offense against these guys' ability to continue to pressurize from the net.
Yeah.
And to shut down that thing. This is really where more of the match has been played like this than any other part. Oh, huge moments. It's just going to come down to a little. I mean, it's not a difficult ball. Made 1,000 before. He's doing the towel off. And now we have the break point and game point. And we've had so many of these crucial moments. You can hear in the background. Come on, Mark. Shake it off. Next one. It's just a regular ball. Just missed it. Talked about it's going to come down to execution. Certainly nothing wrong with the shot selection.
Third panel slam.
Yep. Good job.
Careful
Falling deep. Oh, he's got him spinning. He's going to get that one easily. Good footwork. Right at him.
The Maytag.
He's going to get
working.
Powers goes right back to that one that he just missed, the roller. Oh!
Baby. Oh.
And there's just, that's what we talked about. It's just the defense. And that's like the last two misses from Nunez Powers, easy balls.
Yeah.
But after, 8,000, something's going to get missed. A huge break there. And again, just Regalado Salazar, defense mode only, playing from the backcourt. And this seems to be where this match is going to get decided. And in that case there, up 40-15, Nunez Powers in that game. 3 points in a row, 2 of them on easy overheads right at the end. You can't be like, Regalado Salazar really just dominated those points, right? Just hanging around. And then the big return game, you sort of get a momentum miss there. They had a great return game last game, made every single one of them. And these momentum shifts have been just so massive. What a sick volley that was. And here they are again at the net, and we're going to replay it.
I mean, I don't mind that play from Nunez there. Let's see if they can find some magic here in the backcourt, right? I mean.
Yeah, but it's funny because one of the things that Nunez and Salazar, Salazar and Regalado do so well is when they don't really have a good volley, they just let it go through, which is why they spend so much time back there in this match, because these guys have really good drives. But anytime they hit it, they just let it go. And there was that pocket where they missed 2 or 3 volleys long. Mm-hmm. They've taken it out of play because they're just not volleying them. They made a good one there, but. And this is kind of so reminiscent of the Furnace final they played against each other. That's going to go tough. It was just back and forth one moment. And as soon as one team looked like we did, the other team kind of squeaked in. Yeah. And then right at the end, Nunez Powers took down that first final, through the back door. It was just unbelievable. It's got the same feeling here. Slippery little drive there from Powers. Yeah, but the biggest difference, these guys are just solely pushing, right? They're not doing any offensive overheads.
Yeah.
They haven't even really pulled the trigger on a roller at the, roller at the corner. They're just giving them nothing to create with. And it's probably smart. They're going to win this on their defense and will. Powers moving up the side wire. Needs a little help in the coverage in the middle. Missed it. Oh.
Wow.
And there you go. There's Powers and Nunez.
And I think that was a miss that was forced by Powers.
Little
shift.
slide moves.
His little
yeah,
shift
little
that
moves.
you saw in that earlier, earlier overhead.
Yeah. Oh, that's great touch volley. Hands here shutting down the blitz and the attack. Yeah, Powers and Nunez winning that one with defense, but they're throwing in a couple of, not haymakers, but quick little drives. There's a roller at the corner. Again, help call. Another one. He's going to hit it. 2 in a row from Powers. Great drop. Yes, good move. So good at that is Nunez, the half volley. Oh, he stands in and takes it. Sends it right back. Great shots. Amazing hands there by Nunez.
Hear a pin drop out here, Brad.
You can, absolutely. No, even that's going to be well tracked down. Needs to be a little shorter to do the real damage. I like that off-pace one in the middle there.
He just makes it look so pedestrian. Just toe hum. Little half volley. 3 all in the men's nationals.
You asked me before about what percentage they could get into the crease or into the nick. How often do you think if you gave somebody the same ball every time, they could hit the ball right at the seam and hit the seam?
Less than the nick.
Really? You think the space is different? You think the nick is bigger than the seam?
I think it's I do. I think because you can miss it by a little bit more. You can.
Oh, he's going to get it. It's got extra time, but he's going to not be able to come up with the goods because he's running so fast.
He ran out of room there.
I thought the ATP, the around the post, was available to him there, a little push up the line. Russell Bentheim had one of those yesterday in their match against Nunez Powers. Great return there from Powers. Triple break point now, Nunez Powers. Yeah, the return games have been strong and getting stronger throughout this match.
That's good representation on the live stream from the Exmoor members. I just got another text from Lisa Murray was asking why, aren't they able to blitz off of, are the lobs not deep enough that they can blitz off of? And the reality is the men's game, actually, not men or the women's game too. It's not a winning play the majority of time because they just will crank that overhead hard. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you saw what Nunez did there.
He
cranked it. I mean, his hands
right.
are ridiculous. And we talked about the fact that there are X factors, and there you go, Nunez Powers with the break. And Nunez's ability to make that type of volley or to take the half volley, dink it at your feet and go forward again, it's one of his X factors, right?
Yeah.
Your average club player doesn't have that X factor, so they got to be much more judicious about how they're going to do it. But the good thing about doing a blitz play the right way is sometimes it can affect the way a ball gets sped up. Somebody cranks the overhead and the other guy's trailing behind, well, you still may get a screen drive. But you got to do it the right way. The key is you don't take the overhead. That's hard. You let it go for your partner and so on and so forth. So there's, sort of components to it to making it a valuable play. But you're right. I don't know that anyone's ever done a deep dive study into, what is the actual percentage of blitzes that work. and you'd probably have to break it down
But
to
it's gotta-
return of serve blitz would have a much higher percentage than lob and blitz. Like, you know,
the lob
and then
blitz.
there's self blitz versus
Partner
blitz, right? You know, but off the lob itself,
Almost none.
it's, I wouldn't say it's that low, but I mean, I'd say it's less successful. It's more successful as a setup to speed up the point to a degree, you know, than anything else. What is probably the most successful is the quick lob up and then the repositioning inside the baseline for the down up overhead where you get the spike kind of thing. It's not a blitz, but it's,
Yeah.
Oh, he got it though. Tweener, like it. Alvy. If he's only going to hit one ball out of 20, he might as well make it a tweener.
Yeah, make that a...
He's got it. He's right there for the attack. Oh, so good, those hands. And again, we're talking about the X factors here. There's a reason why these guys are the 1 and 2 seeds here. Oh, having too much fun. Having too much fun. But the basis, like, of Regalado Salazar are getting those kind of misses, right? You know, that's, if they don't get those, I don't see how they survive in this match. You know, they're not, they're
Yeah, that's 3 missed overheads in the last, 3 games, right?
Yeah. You know, the lion's share, and Nunez has been just like creating massively, but, you know, the lion's share of the creation is coming on the other side of the court, and they're spending so much time at the net. That's where it's going to come from. Text in from Thomas Nolan, the great gentleman. He's missed out here on the tour, and he texted in and said the thing he misses the most, of course, just seeing everybody in the community.
Yeah, it's great
Thomas
community.
Nolan, of course, one of the top players in the game. Unloads, I love it. Powers, you know, would you rather see them take it right at the body or blow it through?
Well,
I guess it depends if you want to be at the net or try to end it
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
To me, I'd rather try to end it right there. You know, I'd rather go hard at the body.
I think he might have been feeling he was a little net ball was net level at best, you know.
Maybe. You know, and sometimes your instincts just take over.
Yeah.
You know, like Powers hitting that ball through the middle, he does it on instinct. You know, he'd probably have to think about it to tattoo it the body, which he does. He's going to get there. Regalado's so fast. He easily gets 3 balls in a row. Oh, that's a beauty.
He's not getting that
Oh,
one.
yeah. That time Nunez
There
wants a
we
little
go.
applause. There he
Yeah.
goes. Yeah, I like it. Raise your hands, buddy. You deserve it. Cutter here, weak lob,
Night,
and he
night.
takes all the pace off it right at the end. Yeah, but
Night,
the thing
night.
is, it looks just like he's going to cut it long and through
Yeah.
the court. So
Great
Regalado's
deception.
just hanging back there. I
Great
tell you,
deception.
I love that Nunez raised his arm there because,
It's the
hey,
first, like,
applause.
yeah,
You know,
that's the first
applause.
true
for-
emotion we've seen from him, though, too, right? He hasn't, no highs, no lows, just kind of, that was great.
He is doing some amazing things out there. Still 15 all, 4-3 Nunez Powers. And for every one of those, remember just the last point before we had a miss, right? So it's literally like, that's the yin and yang of the whole thing, all right? And because Powers and Nunez are doing 90% of the creation, 90% of the, you know, the rewards or the other side of it is
Yeah.
coming their way. And it's tough.
15,
And there's
30.
just another, you know, defense wins it, or maybe too much offense, you know, loses it. You know, it's just, and this is what we're seeing, and it seems like this is where Regalado and Salazar, they're going to hang their hat here. If they get an offensive opportunity, they'll take it. But like, that's a good strike there from Salazar. Yeah, it's great. The community's chiming in. Shout out to Scott Slobin, who's moved his way out to Big Sky, Montana. Great pro, and also an avid skier, which he's getting a lot more of an outdoors guy. So thanks for chiming in, Scott Slobin. I think there is a danger zone here, though, for Nunez and Powers, and probably more specifically Nunez, since he's doing the lion's share of it, like, to go off the rails.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it's like I think they almost have to have some sort of scientific thing. Okay, 20 tries, then settle it. You know, like you can't just keep going and going, right? Again, settle it. Because I do not believe also that Nunez and Powers can win this by finishing every single point from now on. Right, you know, like hitting a cut finisher on every single point from now to the end. The good part is actually the return game has been very good for them, you know, and if somehow they can, you know, but that's going to be every other game, and pretty much they're still spending, like we said, what, 75% of the time at the net, 80%. This is it, 1 point after another. There they go, flurry of creation, little cutter, backhand cutter a little deep. You know, when he hits one clean, maybe it's a winner, misses one, boom. That's just this game, 15-30. 2 misses, 1 make. And these guys, 1 strike, volleyed back. You know, like, you know.
Yeah, and that's mentally very taxing, too. You know, you're like, God, I'm throwing everything I can at him, and it's coming back. You know, and then sometimes teams will start to force. Maybe I'd go for a little bit more, and that's where the errors creep in.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Johan Durant, of course, you know, a lot of people consider him the greatest of all time. Certainly, you know, one of the most amazing champions of all time. He had his moments when he could finish a point or take over a match, probably better than almost anyone, you know. But people started to turn that against him at a certain point, and he would start making too many mistakes trying to do it.
Right.
And he had to actually dial it back. When he went with Steve Mitchell, he had to dial it back a degree, you know, and say, then people were like, you can't play slow. And they would use the shot clock against him because he's just trying to finish it. And so, of course, he learned to play slow when he needed to, and then he had that secondary run, you know, the first one with Mark Parsons. But he lost 2 or 3 nationals in a row because essentially Broderick, you know, just wouldn't have it. He wouldn't let you finish it on him enough times. And he was like, I'm going to keep trying.
Yeah.
And then eventually he's, you know, it's like, I'm going to stop. You know, I'm going to do something different. So when he went on to his second career, most of that was because he stopped trying to finish everything and just judiciously did it, right? So there's no, he's got it.
Woohoo!
Unreal.
Wow.
He's doing it again. Now it's just like almost an exhibition. You do this, and we'll just keep lobbing it, you know. Oh, this is ridiculous, though. I mean, but that's where they just beat him mentally.
Yeah.
They beat him mentally. They just you know, and that was just Nunez going, enough. The behind the back was outstanding, but that was just getting beaten mentally.
Yeah.
You know, and as I said, I think this third set is just a test of wills. It's also a test of, you know, Nunez and Powers shot making, but there's a level.
Do you see the smiles?
Oh, they're smiling. They're all really good buddies,
yes.
You know, which is great, which is awesome out here. And especially those 3 guys are very tight. Nunez, Regalado, Salazar, they play together all the time. He's got him spinning, but you just got to be careful here because we got a 3-error overhead game, right? You know, like, so. And the funny thing about it is, don't get me wrong, I want to see that more than I want to see anything, is Nunez hitting cutters and finishing balls.
But it's a much finer line.
Oh, yeah, and the one's taking all the risk all the time is Nunez and Powers.
Right.
What kind of risk are these guys taking? You know. And we're just going to a shell here. Yeah, this is just a shell.
Powers literally had both feet out of the court there.
Out. And there it is, break back, and it's just been the story.
And
You know, do Nunez Powers want to stay back a little bit more? I don't know. You know, but there's clearly that's like, you know, and even that last volley by Powers is like, you know, like it's too much of this. Test of wills. The return game this is the best part for them. When they take the quick strike, and they've broken the last 4 games have been breaks because the return is the top thing out there, and you have the opportunity to do more and create more on that first ball. But now we're going to get back into it. So they didn't get it there.
Yeah.
And now, can they actually do this? This is where here we are.
Great lob, Salazar.
15-0.
Oh, again, that's the one best thing they got. And if you're Regalado Salazar, why not just do what you're doing here? You're winning with now. You're mentally winning now. You know, stop volleying even. Like, you know, like you just stay back there and do what you're doing.
You see that wind up and just
that's
let it go.
huge.
Right?
Yes.
They missed 3 volleys in this game.
I want to see what's happening here.
Yeah.
But strategically, it's the wrong choice. And you hate to be that way about it. It's kind of funny. But I'm glad to see it because I love the action. You know, we'll see something, but when they're in trouble, actually, is when Nunez Powers have to take over the net, and the other guys are just dialing it in.
Yeah.
Because they're taking all the risks there. And even, like, the drive ratio from Nunez Powers against when they're at the baseline compared to the drive ratio, you know, here, it's like 20-1, right? You know, like they're doing 20 more drives, 20 times more drives than – Regalado Salazar. And regardless of tactics, it just is, meaning that all the creation's all on one side.
30-40.
All right, another break point here, and it feels like you need the break because the hold has been hard to come by.
You know, and that has changed too. I mean, if you're looking at the percentages of breaks in this set.
Ooh. Just out. Huge point here. Yeah. All right, for the triple break point to Deuce. Powers hits it, but not strong. Doesn't catch it clean. This is massive. And these are going to be what decide this match. These huge sudden Deuce. Let court and out. Oh. And you got Powers with the paddle bump, and these guys just taking a huge game down.
Regalado Salazar, they lead 5-4, third set.
Now, this is what's fascinating to me. The last time Regalado and Salazar in this position, and they got here from just playing defense, slow playing it, getting the overhead errors out of these guys. The last time they were here in this exact position against this exact team 2 years ago, they suddenly opened it up. They started hitting more bigger shots, got more offensive. They lost the game, and then they proceeded to go out and lose the Nationals. Do they suddenly open it up because they have the lead now, or do they just go ahead, hit another cut overhead winner? You hit 4 cut overhead winners, you can win this game.
Yeah.
Or do they say, like, we're up, let's go? You know, fascinating stuff. And what a bad, that was a tough game lost there for Nunez Powers being up with 3 break points. It's all defense, spinning maneuver. It's a good look. He was on it.
That's the ball Salazar wanted too.
Yeah, he didn't want to hit it in the net, but that was it.
15
But
love.
but you see, this is exactly. I think Nunez is just going to go for it. Meaning, like, I think he's gonna keep going for the shots. They're not going to go slow. Nunez and Powers. I think they're going to keep doing what they're doing. And I think but let's just say that is exactly the ball he was looking for, and I have no problem with that. It's a high ball, and you got him out of position there. It's, they didn't win the last game because of the offensive shots.
Yeah.
They won the last game because the other guys missed their offensive shots because they stood there long enough.
Yeah.
So it is the opposite way of winning a point. I'm not saying it was a wrong ball by any means. It's just different.
Yeah. Boy. Oh my goodness.
So good. Such great defense. They're so athletic. And it's just the old adage, sort of in the Drew Broderick vein. How do you beat somebody who never misses, right? Or doesn't miss or refuses to miss? Big strikes there.
Nice.
3 in a row. What was that, 4 in a row? Good spots too. Right hip, left hip, right hip. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. Stretch, stretch,
everything
stretch.
but the kitchen sink at him there.
And if he had one, he would do it. Throw it at him.
Sponges too.
All right, now he's striking. I'd love it. Oh, wow. That cutoff is brazen. He's doing it again. Crazy stuff. Can Powers come up? Nice. Ridiculous. Yes. Just sauntering.
Sunday stroll.
Yeah,
Sunday stroll.
sauntering.
No.
Yeah, super high risk. He's just going at it. Super high risk. Love it.
15-30.
Live by the sword, die by the sword. 15-30. 2 points for their first national championships are Regalado and Salazar. That's a big ball. That's the one we were talking about before. Where he's getting to the side wire first, able to take the spin off and drive it downward as it spins up into him. Powers roller, cutter, blocked. Is it going to be another one of these points that's just finished on them going for it? Will these guys pull the trigger? Oof. Yeah, that was hot.
Not how you teach a volley, though, but we got it.
Yeah, I don't think you can bait these guys. That's one of the beauties of Salazar, Regalado. It's really hard to bait them. These are just, you're just going to sit here, hit a cut winner, go ahead. Hit a cut winner. Yeah, Powers will do this. He'll hang in there. He'll play the mental battle. I'm not sure Nunez will. He might for a while. What's good about it is he didn't have to. Oh, that was all Powers hitting all those overheads. He certainly can. But as I said, this is kind of third set test of wills. Oh, that is out, and it is triple match point
15-40
for Regalado and Salazar.
Do you think we see another 10-minute point like the last one?
No, I think he goes for it.
Yeah.
My tendency is these guys, when they do get up a little, they will open it up more.
They get the opportunity.
Yeah, and he's got it there. Great shot, good rip. Big, massive.
Pull up with that.
Goes with a heavy
Facing
cutter.
match point.
Oh, I don't think Nunez. I think any point, like he can bring that in. Oh, and that's a finisher right there. That is a finisher from Regalado. Look at this thing. You got to see this again. Push wide.
Oh, he held it.
Crazy.
Fantastic.
Crazy finisher. All good friends up there. Regalado, Salazar, our 2026 champions. Mike, I'm going to leave you to talk about this with Patty Hogan.
Patty Hogan, the Hall of Famer, back in for one more moment on the mic as Brad makes his way to the court for the ceremony. Patty, I got to say, congratulations to Regalado Salazar for a fantastic year, fantastic tournament. Our #1 seed came through in the end and just were so solid.
So solid, Mike. And you know, coming into nationals as the #1 seed, they only had one loss this year.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
Ton of pressure, right?
I felt like early on, Key was putting his buddy Jose in spin cycle over there with those lefty overheads. But they kind of withstood that onslaught. And, you know, Alvi, Jose, money was on them, #1. We got the ultimate matchup in the women's and men's championship.
Yeah.
Number one and two seeds. So I'm happy for all of them. All these guys are great guys, and congrats to Alvi on the first national title together. They eventually lost from 2 years ago, the finals of Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the most amazing paddle matches I ever saw, and what a great win for them here today at Canoe Brook Country Club, Summit, New Jersey.
I mean, can you say enough good things about everything from start to finish of this weekend's tournament has been, you know, over the top.
First class, amazing.
First class to, you know, the tournament committee, the APTA, Joho and the crew here. I mean, just to
Streambox Labs.
Yeah, it just absolutely made this event, I hate to say it, but maybe the best nationals ever.
Wow.
You know,
coming from you, Mike Riley, that means a lot to everybody in Jersey.
I mean, the crowds, the weather cooperated.
Amazing sponsorship.
Yeah.
Just the combination. Combination of all. I see Johan Carlson going out there, one of our APTA umpires, great guy. Damian Johnson, that trophy's bigger than Damian.
I know it is.
Kudos Rob Scanoni, Blake Anderson, co-chairs of this Nationals. They just hit it out of the freaking park,
they did.
Mike.
They really did.
Great committee. A lot of teamwork, a lot of planning, and it all came, you know, culminated. Fantastic finals here today.
I mean, can you ask for a better? I mean, both finals. I mean, this was 182 minutes long. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss my flight to Chicago, but, you know.
A 5:59 flight out, Mike, is not happening.
Yeah, I don't think so. Somebody called me a helicopter to get me to Newark, but
that's right.
I'm going to have to go to plan B and C. I don't know what that is yet, but we'll figure it. It was worth it.
It's always worth it to get
Yeah.
a front row seat to the national championship final. You guys did a great job, Mike, all season long. Awesome commentating.
Well, thanks to you, Patty. All the work you and Karen have put into for this. And
Everybody does work. But thank you, Mike. What is the next flight out after the 5:59?
well, I think there's one around 7:30.
Okay.
So.
We'll hear from Brad shortly. He'll be out on the court. Master of ceremonies.
Oh, is it canoe paddles from Canoe Brook?
Yeah,
okay.
the Canoe Brook paddles. Celebrate Canoe Brook's anniversary. All right.
There we go. Good support from the crowd. Thank you. Let's hear some more support for all these players out here. Amazing 2026 Nationals. All the players, one of the best matches I've seen. And kudos to everybody who put the event on. Mikey Hinsky in the chair. So absolutely tremendous stuff. All right, I'm going to turn this over quickly to Amit Viduri. And he's going to speak on behalf of the APTA quickly. And we are underway. Thank you, Brett. Thank you for all of the commentators who did all the streaming all weekend long. And just a final thank you on behalf of the APTA board and staff and all APTA members. Thank you, New Jersey, Canoe Brook, for putting on just an amazing event. I just want to bring up Rob Scanoni, one of the co-chairs of the event. Thank you, Rob. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Lost my voice. Sorry about this. Just want to thank everybody involved in running this tournament. Especially thank our title sponsors, Land Rover, Parsippany. Without them, we could have made this event what it was. So we appreciate everyone's support. It definitely made things a lot easier with all the support we had. I also want to thank my committee, of course, all the work they did. It was just an amazing job to get everything done. But most importantly, thanking Canoe Brook. Albert and his team are off the charts. Always on the spot on stage, always happy to help, and the whole team has just been tremendous. And of course, the players too. Thank you so much for playing. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob Scanoni. You committee here, Blake Anderson, I see you there with a paddle. Very nice. Different kind of paddle, but it was great to see you with a paddle in your hand on the courts here this weekend. So tremendous. All right, let's bring forth our finalists. Let's hear it for Mark Powers and Julie Nunez. Are they here? All right.
taking a bathroom break. So I'll speak on behalf of those guys. Tremendous match for them. A rematch of the finals 2 years ago. And once again, it just comes down to the wire. And that finishing shot by you, Alvi Regalado, that was a heck of a finisher right there. Let's hear it for all the participants one more time. All right. Here they come. All right, let's hear it for Nunez and Powers. All right. Hello, Mark Powers. Come on out here, face the cameras a little bit. Congratulations on an amazing season and an amazing battle. We were trying to look it up to see if you guys actually played the most games. 4 3-setters in a row. Well, let's make it 5. 5 3-setters in a row to get on your way here. You couldn't quite close the deal, but what a match and what shot making you guys displayed. Any words you'd like to say?
Yeah, I mean, very, very well deserved win. These guys have been the best team in the country all year. They played like it in big points today. We gave it our all tournament. We definitely put our bodies on the line. And we aimed to entertain, right? More games, more matches. No, we had a blast. I want to thank the host site and our friends and family for coming out. This was spectacular. This was a spectacular event. You know, shout out to my wife, Meredith. We arranged a 40-person party bus yesterday. Jim.
Do you guys have extra like face cutouts? The Nunez Powers face cutout?
And her parents are here as well, and as are mine. Jim Kaufman has been helping us all year in getting ready for this, but thank you all. Seriously, it's a blast.
You know, I'd like to start saying thanks to everybody here. Jersey, amazing. It was really, really nice to play in front of you guys. And honestly, Mark and I, we had a very good weekend for us. We went deep every single round, and because of you guys, really, we pulled it. So thank you so much again. Shout out to Pedram again. Some guys here. Meredith, of course. Amazing, thank you for everything. Now with the big guys, you know, they are the winners. Congrats. Amazing. These guys are very good. And Jose's mother is here, so we feel bad. You know? Yeah, thank you guys. That's it. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. We've got some medals for you guys. Congratulations. All right. Let's get out our finalists here. Well, winners and finalists. They're also finalists. Let's get out our winners here. Alvi Regalado, Jose Salazar. Come on out, guys. Congratulations. Huge hand for these guys. Huge hand for these guys. We're going to have Eric Ruby and Hayes Miller from Land Rover Parsippany trophies to you guys. And just an amazing job. Tremendous. All right, so let's do that quickly first. They're going to come out and actually have some trophies for Mark Powers, and we're going to have you say a few words as well.
On behalf of Range Rover and Paul Miller, we are so proud to be part of this incredible event, and just want to thank the APTA and these two gentlemen here. It was humbling watching both of you, and you gentlemen as well. Really spectacular, and we're just proud to be a part of it.
Absolutely, and thank you to Land Rover Parsippany. You guys have done an amazing job here in the community. You need a couple more words?
Me again. Just shout out to my sponsor, Masters and MJP. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. And to our winners, Jose, Alvi, 1 year.
been absolutely phenomenal. You guys seemed inevitable from the start. And then that first set just kind of slipped away. What did you guys tell each other after that first set?
Well, I told my partner I had to keep my serve in play, that's for sure. That was a big factor that, it was a tough match. We had a great battle with them over the past 2 years, and sorry it didn't go your way, but I know how it feels from 2 years ago, so sorry. 7-6, 3-0 down, I was practicing probably my losing speech, not gonna lie. I didn't have anything ready, but great tournament. We're gonna have many battles in the years to come, so you guys seem to really like this tournament. We find it well, so credit to you guys. Big thank you to the APTA and especially Nunez, of course all of you. Paddle in New Jersey is a very different thing, so thank you to all of you for coming and those watching tonight. Thank you to my mom. I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but I love you, mom. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Big thank you to my club, the Sandwich, for the support along the way. It's incredible. I'm very fortunate to say where I worked at. Of course, Sam and Noah from the entire Xenon family. And of course, M4, Derek and Alfredo do an incredible job for us. And last but not least, congratulations for this guy for keeping up with me, and I'm a tough one to play with, and being very tough in the moments today. And we're gonna dedicate this one to his grandmother, who unfortunately passed away on Monday. This guy competed like a true champion, had to fly to Spain, come back on Wednesday, and the way that you competed and mentally staying present. Well done, brother. So proud of you.
That's great. Alvy, been quite a year.
Yeah, well, I would like to start with New Jersey paddle community. This is honestly a different animal. What we've seen this weekend is something that honestly is what a kid's dreams about doing. This was unbelievable, so I kind of know how much it took from Blake and all the committee to put this together. They started a long time ago, and yeah, so much effort behind, and this was honestly unbelievable. So thank you, Blake, and thank you everyone, all the volunteers. I've seen a lot of people working here super hard, so this is all thanks to you guys. So yeah, thank you New Jersey, and thank you APTA for everything you guys do for us.
Thanks so much, Alvy. Any final words?
I had some more. Then it goes to Short Hills Club, super supportive. In every aspect of my life, honestly, they're unbelievable membership. They've been supporting since I got there, and I'm super glad and super happy that this one's coming home for you guys. Thank you for coming out. Again, Jose said it before, but I can't leave without saying it. I want to send a lot of love to my family back home. It's been a rough week for all of us, and yeah, this one goes for her. I know she was pushing out there for us, and yeah, I just want to say to my dad, my mom, and my brother that I love you guys, and that you guys are the best family I could ever ask for. So thank you so much. Last but not least, my real win is at home, honestly. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for everything you do. You're one of the main reasons I wake up every day. And again, this one goes for you. We're going to share this one at home. And sorry about before. I love you. And yeah, again, thank you to our sponsors and to everyone who made this happen. Super excited, super happy, and very relieved. So thank you guys, and I love you guys.
Congratulations. One more round of applause for our winners. And then we're going to bring out Cameron Raza, who's got some paddles. All right. Okay, so Blake, come on out here. Cam, in here, Stead, what do you guys have to say about these paddles?
So just on behalf of Nunez Country Club, to celebrate the 125th year in running, we have some congratulatory canoe words for you guys to take home. So congrats.
Congratulations. Look at that. Bonus prizes. That is awesome. Is there any significance to those paddles? 125th anniversary. Row your way to victory on those. That is absolutely tremendous. And Waldron, do we got some medals for these gentlemen as well? All right, congratulations, medals, and Eric Rumi and Hayes Miller, come back out here. We got more glass bowls, more trophies. Guys, thanks you again so much. Take some pictures there. Land Rover, Parsippany, one of our great sponsors here. Congratulations. Amazing tournament. All right, and Davey Johnson, you've been holding that a long time. You doing okay? Nobody helping you at all. The APTA trophy, well deserved by our #1 team in the country, who bring it home. Regalado, Salazar. Congratulations to our 2026 APTA Men's National Champion. Guys, in conclusion, I want to thank all of you who came out here, all the volunteers, the amazing work by, all the committee here at the Canoe Country Club. They really put on an amazing show, and to a man, everyone feels the same way. It's been an amazing 2026 New Jersey Nationals, and we'll see you guys in fall for the 2026-27 season. Give yourselves a round of applause. You guys are all amazing. And that's going to be a wrap here for the 2026 APTA National Championships.
All right. Well, Patty, on behalf of the APTA and everything, that I hate to say it, but that's a wrap from the 2026 National Championships here in Canoe Brook.
Gold looks good on Alvy and Jose.
They do. And thank you to all the membership in Canoe Brook for the great job they've done.
Thanks, Mike. Great season.
Yes.
Congrats to Regalado and Salazar. Their first national title together. Maybe start a new run.
Yeah.
A new streak in the men's game.
There we go.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Patty.
The business owners that I'm working with have entrusted Corient in this work because we're really focused on supporting them in their important endeavors. They're functioning every day in their zone of genius, and their expectation of us is we're doing the same. My name is Anna Diaz. I'm a partner and wealth advisor at Corient. When we think about the work we're doing for our clients, we think about first financial, absolutely. It is not uncommon that our very successful business owners and clients are making disjointed decisions. Our job is to provide a proactive strategy so the filter in which they make these decisions is informed. Second is the emotional load. Our clients often are asking themselves, what am I missing? Our job is to remove that mental load so they feel that their strategy is optimized, is simplified, and is executed cleanly. And the third is generational. Absolutely, there is technical design that goes into that, but it is also the thoughtful impact they want to have with what they've created.